T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Podcast. This presents Holy Gecko Sessions. Tonight is a very special episode. I got to tell you, these two come highly recommended by some of the most biggest players in the gecko game. But guys, if this is your first time tapping in, what is good? I'm your boy MJ. Happy Sunday to you all. Hope you guys can hear me not loud and clear. Do your boy a favor. If you're into reptiles, keeping, breeding, admiring, all the above, hit that subscribe button. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on the Trap Talk Podcast YouTube channel. If you listen to me on all the audio platforms, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to those platforms as well. And then drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys are liking best out of all these series that I drop here every week. I want to say thank you to all my support out there. Thank you to everyone who comes and watches this on a weekly basis. The Gecko series has been picking up over the last few months, ever since starting it. And I got to say thank you to all the love and support I've been getting out there. Now, I do got to tell you that this podcast is powered by my boy Doug from Ridiculous RHACS. Shout out to the sponsor of the Gecko segments. I'm telling you right now, this guy right here, one of the best in the lychee game, hands down. And he's a huge trap supporter. Thank you so much, Doug, for sponsoring the Trap Talk Podcast. Looking forward to doing big things with you this year, my man. But listen, everyone, please head over to Instagram right now. Go give Doug a follow, Ridiculous RHACS. Go see how crazy his projects are. He does more than just lychees. This guy's really tapped into a lot of amazing things. He has a lot of respect in his name. So please, guys, go give my boy Doug some support. And Doug, thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. And I do want to say that this is also brought to you by Clutch. That's right, man. Anyone out there who's in the ball python game, who's been using this software, already knows that this is the future. A lot of great results so far from people using this. I'm actually one of them, and it's really awesome to kind of see everything in play as far as my projects go. So shout out to Justin Kabelka and the entire Clutch team. Thank you for your love and support. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more than what you see here on this channel, best thing you can do is go down to the link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. It's one of the very first couple links you see in the description below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. You get exclusive content. You get the first dibs on highlights before they actually hit YouTube. And then I actually put out content that's not even released on YouTube. I also have something called the Soundtrack Chronicles, which is pretty awesome as well. So a lot of perks when joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. I do want to say the biggest perk out of all those is becoming a part of the Discord, because you tap in with over 150 trappers in the game. We're all about this. Longevity is our game plan. We're all about doing this for the long run. So we have really experienced keepers a part of this family who chop it up all day in the Discords, and even the newer experienced people who've just picked up so much just by being part of this family. Listen, I just want to say shout out to my Patreon members. I love you guys. We're growing by the day. And if you want to be a part of this awesome wave, like I said, go down to the very first couple links that you see below and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Cannot wait to see you guys and meet you guys. If you want to see what I have going on Instagram, follow me on IG, Trap Talk God 619, and then follow the podcast's social media pages as well on Instagram and Facebook, the Trap Talk Podcast. If you're on Facebook, drop me a like, drop me a comment, follow me and like my page on Facebook. Thank you for all the love and support. If you guys want to support this channel further, you could drop a super chat if you have an important topic, if you have an important question for a guest, for me, whatever. Throw out a super chat and we will make sure we get that question or topic on the big screen tonight and we get it cracking. What is good with all my early birds, man? I see early birds in the building. You guys are ready to rock and roll. I know I'm ready to rock and roll. I can tell you that much. We have Sunshine State Sulphurs, the homie West in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for being here. 1776 Exotics, the OG Trap Talk Patreon member, my very first Patreon member from 3 years ago. It's my dog, Mike. Thank you for being here, Mike. Appreciate you so much. Go give him a follow on Instagram. And then, hey, by the way, Wes, congratulations on your very first, I forget the locality of Asian water monitor, but this guy just had something amazing happen for his reptile career. So go give him a follow, please. My dog, Wes, Sunshine State Sulfurs. Again, congratulations. Slithery Serpents in the building. What's good? Thanks for tapping in. Ricky Bobby, the homie Shane. Trap Talk Patreon member, Team Zoo Dreams all day, every day. Geckos of the Coast. What's up, Geckos of the Coast? I like that name. That name is sick. I really do. Thanks for being here. Joe Testefano, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Jordan from Heartland Reptiles. What's up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member. My homie with the new name change. My homie Jonathan Wilcox. Now Polygeny Reptilia. Man, listen, God bless you with that name, bro. I couldn't even pronounce that. I mean, you got to help me with that, all right? I'm not the most literate guy I know. So shout out to homie Jonathan. Go give him a follow. I do like the new logo. That shit's hard. Sky's the limit. What is up? Sky, look who it is. The sponsor in the building. Big Doug in the house. Ridiculous RHACS. Go give him a follow, like I said. Feels a big player. What's up, Adler? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Adler in the building. NW Herpetological. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Like that pick. The homie Donnie in the building. Beware, guys. Donnie's in the building. Never know what he's here to collect information-wise. Just kidding. Thanks for being here, Donnie. Julio Fulio. What's up, Julio? Thanks for being here. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Tim Martin. What is up, Tim Martin? My wife. Hi, wife. Thanks for being here. Wife, we got to talk. You need to listen to this podcast first and foremost, please, babe. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but there's an event that these two throw, and I want to know more about it. And I need you to just kind of hang tight and listen to the details on this because it's going to be pretty player. Stream Elements. What's up, Stream Elements? What is going on here? Thanks for being here. Julio, what's up, Julio? Let's see. A1 Genetics in the building. Thanks for being here. The homie Angel, Reptile Club. Thanks for being here. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Galaxy Reptiles in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Kale Geckos, what is up? Thanks for being here. The homegirl Caitlin in the building representing. I like that shirt. That's Trap Family all day, every day. Go give this girl a follow. Caitlin Wilcox, Jonathan's sister. She's a homie. JKJ Reptiles, what is up? Thanks for being here, player. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Brian in the building. This is one of the players I was telling you guys about. You guys know I had Brian on the show. Amazing podcast. Good friends of Brett and Gabby's. So just give you an idea how awesome this podcast is going to be tonight. Thanks for being here. Brian, means a lot. Thanks for all the love and support. We're going to end it with the homie Brian. All right, guys. Holy Gecko sessions going down right now. Hope you guys are ready. Stay hydrated. Get your water together. Get anything you got to do to get your mind right because it's going to go down. We're going to dive deep on some next level gecko community building type things because these two are really tapped into the gecko community. And on top of that, I had a little quick glimpse of their room. Their room is sick as hell. So this is going to be an awesome, awesome podcast. Examples are about to be made tonight. So please, guys, be ready. It's going down. Episode 291, Brett and Gabby of Morph Menagerie coming at you right now. Gee. You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasters?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
Okay, I saw Brett's hands go up in the air. That means I butchered the name, and we need to clear this right now. I'm sorry. I should have asked. I knew there was something. I forgot to ask you. I'm like, am I saying you guys' name right? And
we have so many friends that we've known for years, and they say it the same way. And I was like, I feel like menagerie is a word you hear.
I've never heard of that name.
A menagerie?
No? Say that again. Say that again. Again.
Menagerie.
I've never heard that word in my
So
life.
a menagerie is like basically a collection of animals.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I had done ball pythons prior to having met Brett. And so I thought morph menagerie was great. And then we got into crested. I was like, there's really no morphs. And then now there's morphs. So it works.
You need to say it one more time for me, please.
We're morph menagerie.
Menagerie.
Yeah.
Menagerie. It's bougie.
Think of,
menagerie.
no, let's not go there.
That's what I'm thinking. Menage a trois. That's what I'm thinking. It's another dirty word. But either way,
yeah,
I like it. It's unique, and it's also. I just learned something. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, welcome. Thanks. Hi.
Brett and Gabby in the building. How you guys doing?
We're good.
We're great.
How are you? Good.
I'm excited for this, as you guys can tell, because people I really love in the gecko community are highly recommending you two come on the show. And it's happened. I know. I think I hit you up end of last year, like right at the very end, right?
Yeah,
and,
it was actually like mid to end December, and this is the first weekend that worked.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm glad we're getting it in. But Brett, how are you, Brett?
I'm fantastic. Just been busy, and like I said, this is the first time we had to come on, so we appreciate it.
We're here for it.
You guys are in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Curious, is that where you guys always been, or did you guys recently go there? How did you guys get to North Carolina? What a unique place in the country.
So I'm originally from upstate South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and she's from Florida, and we moved here about, 11 years ago?
We met in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I lived in South Florida till I was about 25, and I've been here, I'm going to tell my age, for almost 12 years now. So we met here, and I actually did the reptile stuff in South Florida. So I bet you there are people that we both know that occurred in South Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
So born and raised, Gabby, in South Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, listen, Brett, she's a different breed. You know that, right? Like
I told him to run, but
bro. I mean, no, here's the thing. Like, so one of my best friends, if not my best friend in this game, lives in South Florida. He's in Fort Lauderdale. My boy's
Oh, that's where I'm from.
Yeah. And I remember after my knee surgery, like he was kind of pairing me. He's like, all right, he's like, you got to start stretching. Like, he's very like all about taking care of your body and stuff. And I'm like, man, this guy's very like, he seems like he's very like careful and cautious. And so I go visit him, right? He picks me up from the airport. I see a gun right next to like his thing. And then I'm like, why is there a gun right there? And then he has like a gun on his ankle. And I'm like, dude, why does he have like, and honestly, after he let me, he loaned me his car, like, hey man, go and take my car and go to the hotel. It's a real life Grand Theft Auto video game in South Florida. Okay.
I would say welcome to Florida.
Dude, I saw a guy like who looked just as normal as I was go from walking to like humping a shopping cart and then trying to chew on it. And I'm like, he was just normal. What is he doing? And and then like people honking at each other, like speeding up and then speeding. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking nuts.
The things we would see living there, and also probably some of the things we did, which I won't share out loud, were crazy. It was wild. Then we moved here, and I'm like, this is so tame and relaxing and peaceful, and I'm here for it.
I mean, if you would ask me, I would have thought you were from you look like just a nice, sweet lady from North Carolina, but no, you're some gangster lady from South Florida.
And then my family's from New York too, so don't let it fool you.
Don't get it twisted. Don't judge people. You can't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, listen. Okay, so I don't even really need to dig deep into your animal background. You came from the mecca of reptiles of the country. And I just was curious. What were the first kind of reptiles you were keeping, Gabby? I'm sure from a little.
So, I was gonna say the nice thing is I'm so lucky that when I met Brett, he was like, "Oh, cool, a leechy. Let's hold this." And oh, cool, these ball pythons are breeding in your bathroom, because I was, doing all sorts of things. But I first started off with, my first snake was a spider ball python, and it was like a $500 snake. And I was like, what am I doing at 21 years old, spending $500 on a snake? This is a horrible idea. And then I just like totally went off and lost my marbles in that for a little while. And I used to go to Underground Reptiles and Ben Siegel Reptiles, which
Wow.
is like a completely different experience now in this day and age, but we lived right by it. So I'd go, I don't know, just, I loved them. I loved everything. My parents were so nice to always give me like small rodents as a kid. So I always got to play with those things, and yeah, loved animals after that. Just, they became food, and no, I'm just kidding. But no, I started with the ball pythons and had cresteds, and then got into leechies and did all that. Then got out of it, you know, I moved back and forth to Florida, and then I got here and I was like, I'm going to start this up. And Brett and I just did it together and kind of like ran from there.
Mm-hmm. And then Brett, with you, what's your history with reptiles as a child and to this point? I'm curious.
I never kept them as pets. I come from a super rural area, so like they were everywhere out in the backyard and in the woods. So
okay,
I was always down with some wild caught adventures and things like that. My dad was a biology major, so he'd run out and, you know, we'd wrangle them for a little bit, kind of Steve Irwin style, and let them go. So I was always okay with it. So when I met her and she had them, it was pretty seamless.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
So neat. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, it's just so neat. Like, you know, because one of the things I love the most is a couple who have the kind of same mission that you guys do have. And what I mean by that, it's like, obviously what's behind you is a huge investment, not only just with money at some point, but just the time. This is a lifestyle. Like, this isn't something where we check in, check out. There is no checking out. Like, we're in this. And Brett, you understand that, you know, obviously your wife's going to be diehard committed to this. And I'm sure you are too, or where's your relationship into the business compared to what your wife does? I'm curious, like what you guys do.
So
we definitely are balanced.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act of this. She does like so much of the networking and the social media aspects, and like all of our online presence is her. I'm more of the like day-to-day care of the animals, you know, cleaning cages, pairing animals, pulling eggs, staying organized, like everything physical within the reptile spaces are things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is everything.
I also spend all the money, and
yes.
I
got this new animal. Okay, cool. We'll find a spot for it.
Wait, the funniest thing, we have a child who is supposed to be sleeping, who is calling me, but Brett's going to take care of it. So we're at this reptile show, and I come back with my normal stack of like me going around hunting for geckos the whole entire time, making sure, you know, if there's something that we need to add to the collection. And that's how we picked up Sable, which is a new, really awesome new gene that is recognized. And we got her, and he's like, it's okay. It's like the hottest, latest, and greatest. We got really lucky. And so I definitely tend to be the one who's like, let's do this, and let me get that, and let's put this project together. And thankfully, he has a very similar taste to what I like and puts up with it. So
we're gonna grab that Sable topic and we're gonna put it on the shelf right now, because we're gonna be tapping into that Sable talk.
Okay,
definitely.
We can chat.
But let's talk about how you went ahead, because listen, I don't think Brett, and with all due respect, he's a dipshit. And what I mean by that, I don't think he just let you go shopping spree if there's really nothing that you've been doing to kind of bring money into the game plan. And I'm curious, like, how much have you really, or when was it when you kind of like involved Brett with, as far as, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been breeding and selling for a while, right? Or no?
For a long time, yeah.
Okay. So, and did you right off the bat explain that to Brett? Like, hey, Brett, this money that I do want to spend is money I got from this, and that, or I'm just curious on how you guys delegate that.
So the one thing that I will say that I'm really good about is I've always put myself in a position where I've worked 1 to 3 jobs, and I'm always like make my own money and make sure all the bills are paid. I'm like very responsible and also very frivolous. And we sat down one day and we're like, let's maybe get a couple of cresteds and rebuild that project, because I sold out of it after I broke up with an ex and just did my own thing, moved on, wanted to like just stabilize myself. And I said, let's do this. Like, we really ultimately want more leechies, but leechies are expensive, and cresteds, I know cresteds. Let's do this. We'll get there. And turns out we only have like 4 pairs of leechies now, because we love crested so much. But there was a point where he's like, this is getting out of control. Like, stop buying them. And I was like, I don't want to. And it had to be this like conversation that we had. And eventually, like after doing our first show, we did, I don't know if it's like bad to talk about numbers out loud, but like we made $6,000, which sounds like a lot of money. And for a lot is a lot of money at our first show that we ever did. And we're like, holy cow, that's it. Let's invest. So we've kind of just like developed this really cool business that started off with, you know, starting with one project and then migrating to another and then like continuously stepping upward. So he's more like I just do what I want and then I say I'm sorry. But
we'll make up for it. We'll make up for it. I swear.
We'll make up for it later, I promise. And the whole time I've had to be like,
we'll get our money back on this.
It's gonna come back. I promise. It's gonna come back, and it has like tenfold.
Oh, yeah,
We've been very fortunate to have made really good moves, and he's been very good to put up with them, and also really enjoy them and embrace them too. He's the face of shows. Like I don't love doing shows as much anymore. I love the social aspect of it, but I'm not enjoying like vending as much as I am like socializing and networking and having fun and doing all that. And he's been like dedicated and really good about going to shows and doing that too. So like there's definitely a place for both of us in this business and it works great.
I do want to say, because I'm just coming off my very first show, shout out to Rami. Shout out to Rami, the Reptile Super Show. It was a great time. But vending is a lot of socializing and marketing. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Especially if you could work up your followers or work up kind of let people know that you're going to be there. Now I got to tell you, luckily shout out to my boy Diego, but I had somebody there to hold down like the sales side of things, which that could be him, right? But I mean, I was literally just shaking hands and kissing babies the entire time. And it was so much fun. I think I only sold 2 snakes, but still like that was like the most crazy, funnest experience of my life. I was like, this is cool. You know what I mean? And man, I got to tell you right now, the shows, vending, that connects all the dots. I mean, especially if you already have the social media presence down, like if you could build relationships there, then meeting these people in person takes everything to the next level. And it's like, that's where a lot of people go wrong in social media is they do have a legit respectable following where they put out great content, but they don't want to show their face to these people. So it's like, how do you ever expect people to like really like, because you never know who you're going to meet, right? Let's talk about let's talk about one thing I love about this hobby, guys, is who you can meet, right? Like, I mean, think about Brian, Kenny, the names I was mentioning before this podcast. These guys are just amazing humans. I would have never met them if it wasn't for reptiles. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I met Kenny, I've already known Kenny, but I met Brian at a was it Culver's? At a Culver's right there across the street. You guys were there. You guys were there. Wait, you guys were sitting right next to them. Yes, I think you were at Culver's.
I was at Culver's.
Did you go to Tinley or no?
Oh yeah. Always.
Dude, I could have sworn, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but there was like a table of you guys, and I went over there to say hi to Kenny. Kenny introduced me to Brian. I remember
we were there.
Face.
Yeah, that's
I do remember that. Yeah.
Brett, you look like, I don't know, like you look like you've been in a movie or something. You just have like a recognizable face. I don't know what it is about your face. It's a good thing, by the way. I'm not saying it's
appreciate it.
It's a good face.
It's not a punchable face. And there's faces out there that are, with all due respect, just happen to be so punchable. I don't know what it is. You ever see a face and you're just like, oh, I wouldn't do it, but God, I just want to punch that face. That's not Brett's face. Brett's face is something to remember. And see, I remembered. That's awesome.
Okay.
Most important trait. Check.
Hey, okay. We're talking about Tinley though, guys. The Super Bowl shows. How much of a time is Tinley for you guys?
Oh, it's huge. It's great. It really helps that
it's exhausting.
It's both of us.
We vend.
Yeah, we vend. So, like Gabby used to do the wonderful going around and shaking hands and kissing babies and making deals. And I get to stand behind the table and make some sales and meet some other people that come up and see us. It's great.
And can I tell you my favorite part about Tinley? And I don't mean this because I love new people getting into the hobby, but not having to explain what a crested gecko is like a gift. So Tinley by itself, not having to explain what the species is that's on our table is such a gem.
Wait, hold on. There's people who ask you to explain
all the time.
Yes.
You go to like smaller reptile shows, and yeah,
you're spoiled because you did Pomona, which is like a very big like reptile like gathering type experience, whereas and Tinley and and most of the NARBC shows, but you go to like the local shows, which are awesome because that's how you connect with your community. That's how you bring people into the community. That's how you develop new gecko keepers or other
grow your customer base
and enthusiasts. But to have to sit there and like painstakingly say, this is a crested gecko. They eat crested gecko diet. We typically prefer Pangea. We, like that is like on repeat for shows, which is why Brett is so patient and and that's why he's doing shows and I'm not.
Yeah, I did Atlanta last weekend and she did Baltimore.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, we probably explained it like 4 dozen times to people.
It's a lot.
Atlanta's a Repticon, is that right?
They got everything, but yes, that's
the
the
one
one
that you did was Repticon, but we also do
Reptile.
Reptilian Nation in Atlanta as well.
Reptilian Nation, mad respect. Heard good things about Reptilian Nation.
Really great show.
Awesome stuff.
Let's talk about Repticon, right? Is that, now, I don't know. There's some people who have strong feelings against that show. What is your experience at that show? Good or bad? Let's talk about it. You can be honest.
The truth is, I think that one of the really big reasons, and just a little segue, one of the big reasons why we're doing the show that we're doing is because I do think that there is a standard of care and a standard of quality that needs to be present at every single show. Brett feels the same way.
Right.
And that is sometimes lacking. It's hard to vet everybody. Like I couldn't imagine being in this and not know who everybody is. And so because of that, they do let in a lot of people that I don't know if they intended to, but there are some sketchy people that I'm pretty sure that they were aware of. So there are things that we definitely don't agree with, but there is such a huge presence. And like, we feel like if we can contribute really good information about husbandry and good quality animals, it won't give the reptile hobby so much, bad rep or a bad rep or anything like that. So yeah.
Well,
do we love it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I notice that you guys aren't the only ones who have legit setups like what you guys guys have behind you. This is kind of like almost a standard, I feel like, in the gecko game. And that's a high standard to have, which isn't a bad thing. And I feel like there's a high standard in the gecko community, am I right?
Yeah. They've done a really good job. Gecko Junkie, Tristan, started with some of our friends, which you've met Allie before, and Samantha at Crestopia, Allie's Hidden Valley. They were the ones who first got the condos. I think theirs were the first ones that I had seen. I was like, oh, damn, this is what we need. Because we were using really nice rack systems with tubs. And it was we were always well organized. Like that's one thing like I want to pride myself on. And Brett is just killer about it. We have a whiteboard over here that you can't see, and it has every female name, every male name, and like a corresponding number. And like just being organized is so important for us. The caging has made life easier. It's not even yes, it's the money, and yes, it's we want to create a great environment for our animals and make sure that they're healthy and well cared for. But also the simplicity of it is just incredible. There's a vent on the front so you can just spray inside, or you can install a Miss King if you wanted to. But it's easy. So Gecko Junkies, who made our cages for us, and they stack. It's just so easy. Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Let's kind of talk about enrichment or something that you guys feel that is kind of crucial. Not that it's a pain to have, but like, for instance, there's humidity, there's UVV, there's plants that they can hide. What do you guys feel like one of the most important enrichments are for the geckos? Like something that's like, I'm sure you need more than just this, but a high one in your guys' book.
Ooh.
Probably like the cork and the plants for us are
cork for us is huge. Like you want that rough surface. It helps them, it gives them something to climb on. It helps with some sheds and things like that. Like little bits can get stuck to their toes and other places, and they can help, get that off.
There's a lot of controversy in what people like want in their caging.
There's a lot of different ways to set up crested geckos, and it varies with where you keep them. Like the way we take care of geckos in the Southeast is going to be different from the Northeast or the Midwest or the West Coast. Like very, very different things.
Like how do you keep your leechies? What do you got?
Come again?
What do you like? How do you keep your leechies?
I got one.
Okay.
Thanks for making me embarrassing me right now. And
no, you're great.
Okay, I have
We're
a
here for.
I have a new, it's at Nuami locality, lychee, and my buddy Ari Flagel from a zoo down in Texas produced it and gifted it to me, and I'm just in love with it. His name's Big Hank. He's in a, so here's the thing. He's still small, right? Or he's growing. So I was told not to put him in anything too big, right? So I have him like in this storage, not storage, but like this clear tub, right? But I have like, you know, I have substrate, I have a cocoa chip, and you know, he has cork wood, he has things to hide, and I spray it every other day because I know you want it humid but not too humid. You don't want it soaked, you don't want it wet, right?
You're doing great, MJ. Keep going. I like this.
Stop it, knock it off. But my buddy Alex is like, I don't know if you know who Panda Fonda is. Do you know who Panda Fonda is?
I feel like I don't.
He's awesome.
You have to like send me the link and I'll follow him.
I will send you, like, I get so upset because this guy like he kids around like, how come I never bring him on my show, and like how not enough people know about him, because like the guy's a fucking wizard. Like, he knows about a lot, but he just doesn't like put himself out there the way he should. Yeah. And I've invited him over 5 times on this show, and he's just too scared. So anyways, he tells me I need to feed my animal more. I'm like, dude, that thing needs to be growing. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? So let's kind of talk about as far as what's recommended as far as new diet for any kind of gecko. I mean, do you guys feed every day? Is it every other day? What's going on with the
This is a hot topic. So like AJ, Brian, Brian, like everybody has a different method. There are some people who grow theirs quicker than we do. And we're kind of playing a little bit. I feel like this whole entire hobby is constantly like, okay, what's the right remedy for this? Or how do we do this? And let's change this out, and let's try that. And like hundreds of items later, hundreds of dollars later, it's always something different. So anyways, we personally are Monday, Wednesday, Friday Pangea feeders. We add cricket powder to our diet, and we also feed crickets. We were having a harder time keeping them alive, so we've kind of slowed it down. But I think we're going to kind of switch that up a little bit. I do think bugs are vital for growth, at least in the babies. And we do like mixing up the flavors and options for them. There's a lot of things that come along with feeding bugs, though. You know, you end up with issues, and they're not even, this is actually something we're going to talk about, and I'll tell you more about, but you have more times that you'll find like worms in the poop and things like that. And to be honest, it's kind of no big deal. So that's like kind of another point of like, do you feel this way or do you feel that way? And it honestly doesn't affect them, and humans can't get it. We did the research because we were nervous about that, but we're pretty keen on just saying, let's go heavier with the crickets and, you know, do something more, what's the word, like nutritious, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. It's also good enrichment for the geckos too. We find like you put some crickets in a crested gecko enclosure and watch it go, and
they're so happy.
Like, it's so happy.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, because they naturally hunt, right? So, and I feel like that's like the circle of life as far as them looking to go get it, and I feel like that's so important. But going back to the worms thing, like, what do you think is really causing that?
So crickets carry parasites, and then it's like a circle. It's just a big thing. It goes around.
So going too heavy on the insects.
Yeah. So, and it could happen from one insect, and then it's like
all it needs is one
thing. So that's kind of like where I don't even want to say I struggle. We don't at this point. After speaking to a vet and having other friends who are in the hobby who are doing the same thing, the research has found that that it's, I don't want to say symbiotic, but it doesn't harm the gecko, and that like you could bring a gecko in for like 100 issues, and like the last thing the vet thinks it is because of the worms or whatever the case would be. Yeah. So I think more so than anything, people like see that and they're like, oh God, my animal has worms, and we're like, well, we feed bugs. Sorry, and it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when, you know, things like that. So we do treat them once a year and stuff like that, but they even, from our findings, they're saying that why treat something that's not exactly an issue. So we're still working on that. And that's actually one of the conversations we're going to be discussing at the conference portion of our show that we're hosting. So it's going to be one of our hot topics because we do think that bugs are pretty vital for their growth and
Absolutely.
and yeah.
So you guys want to hear my experience with parasites and something that's like
We would
really
love to.
like from the movie Aliens, like just so back when I first got into the game, when ball pythons were where it all started for me, right? And
same.
the thing was, I didn't get into this because of money at all. I just love collecting. I love collecting cool stuff until I met somebody making money in the ball python game. Then everything. Then I was like, holy shit! And then I realized like, wow, man, like the stuff that I really, really want now is really, really expensive. And I'm like, and to stay relevant, to be a part of that ball python rat race, you have to have deep pockets. That's it. That's it. I don't
agree.
And you just, it's a tricky game, but it's a fun game. I love it. But I got to a point where I was like, okay, hold on. First and foremost, like these ball pythons, I do love the snakes, but I want to get more out of it. Like I want something more with the personality. And that's when I started falling in love with the chondros, right? My wife, bless my wife, actually, before I even started getting heavy into the ball pythons, when I had about 10 ball pythons, my wife gifted me my first chondro during Christmas. And it was like, that right there changed everything. Like that's when I went from like, oh my God, I have a rack full of ball pythons to like my wife asked me what I'm doing and I'm just watching my snake sitting down Indian style like a little kid. Like that right there was like this, like, you know what I mean? I'm talking just geeked out, right? And so I was like, I need to get into I just same itch with the ball pythons. That's what happens with the green trees, right? But mind you, right? Same shit. If you want to get United States captain born and bred green tree pythons, cool if you have the money, which the money is the important part, but you got to know people. Like you have to be connected, right? So I didn't know nobody and I for sure didn't have money. And I found about imports. And I was like, I found kingsnake.com and
do this. That's where I started shopping.
Dude, and then turns out, like, I'm good at building relationships, especially like, I'm just blessed with that gift.
Yeah.
And I became good friends with probably the biggest importer that was getting the most rarest shit as far as reptile wise into the United States. And he became my really, really good buddy. Half of this came from him. Okay. So, and I'm just like, but mind you, the shit I went through getting imports, not everything came in beautiful. I had a couple things where, he would tell me, hey, I treat everything twice with this panicure parasite. He told me his regimen, but then he would just basically send me shit before he would even treat it. And he would tell me, he's like, you have to treat this. And so I'm like, okay. So he taught me how to treat parasites for green trees. And so I started doing it. And then one time I had this green tree for about over a year and I did all the treatment, right? I came into the room. Okay. And I was like, I haven't fed everything in 2 weeks. I was like, why is there a rat? Like what's on the floor going, like moving around? And I'm like,
oh no.
I was like, what the fuck is that? So I grabbed the bin, I open it, dude. Okay. I'm talking like these worms. I'm talking these worms that were like this long, like with legs, and they were like going like this. And I was like, what the fuck? And they were like
dying.
They were alive. And they were dude, they were stringy. And it was like I was horrified. I thought my collection, I was like, dude, what? I literally, guys, I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it. It was the most horrific thing ever. I have another story. It's just as bad. But as far as parasite wise, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. It was crazy. Awful. Yeah, and I videoed it. My buddy couldn't believe it either, and he's seen it. But
they were that long. They were
like they were long. They were long. They were long and like
scary.
They had like muscles. They were moving and like it was, dude. It was nuts. Okay, but guys, I still have that snake. It's right here.
No way.
Yeah, it just shit it out. Like whatever that was in it, it shit it out. And I was like, oh, and mind you, this snake was quarantined back. This is like 4 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, man, you never know what you're gonna see in this shit. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
But I could tell you right now, like, especially with these imports, where they come from, like I do know that some certain kind of worms or something, you guys,
they're
like,
bad.
You got to do something about it. That's why I was curious, with the geckos, like, but
it's not the same.
It's not definitely not the same.
The funny thing that you say that is when I was a kid and I just started, I had this like core group of friends, and we would actually always go down to Strictly Reptiles because we were friends with Alex Van Nostrum, who's the youngest of the clan, and he did all the husbandry. So we would go and we would like pick through all the like freshly imported baby ball pythons to look for like any new morphs. I say Jews now, but any new morphs, and like see if anything was really cool. And that was a problem. We would always leave like chlorhexidine all over our hands and like wash up like you wouldn't believe. And but we would see stuff like that too, and it's all the imports, and it's gross. It's so bad,
dude. And like I said, I am happy for the import game because it turned my heart a little cold. Like I talked about how my very first chondro that died on me was a snake. It was my second chondro, and it was a baby. It was a baby Neo that was wholesale to my buddy, never ate before, and he's like $200. I'm like.
No.
I'm like, I had no idea. So I was like, I want it. I was like, oh man, I need it. And then of course I couldn't get it to eat. Then my dad comes, helps me get it to a cis feed, and it finally starts to eat, and then it dies. And then like, dude, I'm a grown ass man. I think I was like 32 or 33 at that time. No, I was like 33, 34. I cried like
I would have been crying too.
Dude, I was like, I can't believe it. I was like, I thought, because like I said, I didn't come into this with money, and anything I spent, I thought I would never get back. And so I was like, I'm never going to get a chondro again. And so I always thought whatever died was like the end of the world. Like, dude, but the import game, like I said, my buddy, at the time, I don't want to say he's not my buddy anymore, but, unfortunately, like, we work with imports enough.
Yeah.
It gets, those South Florida guys are, man. It's dirty. They are dirty, man.
It is.
Dude,
it is.
my own people too. Like he started like, I'm like, bro, like I would bring this guy on my show and people were like, yo, he's a piece of shit. I'm like, no, he's not. And then sure enough, like, okay, now I get it. Like, you know what I mean? But because of that experience, dude, like, man, I went up the game quick as far as accepting death. Like, you have to just understand that if you have a lot of animals, something's going to happen. You know what I mean? And it's just a part of the game. But that's why, like, you can't avoid certain things that happen, but fresh water changes, anything I can do to make their life better, I'm all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And circling kind of back to the whole worm thing, from having been in snakes for so long, like parasites, and like that's the end of it. Like you have to immediately go, you treat. So like when I heard, oh my gosh, crickets and worms, and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And people are like, no, calm down. It's fine. It's not the same thing. It's not as severe, and it doesn't affect them the same way as we would see in imports and things like that. So that's kind of like that side that I was saying how I was warring with, but that's so funny. It's so true.
Since we're on the topic of diet, I'm not trying to flex on you guys right now, but I do got to say this is my one happy moment during the Sunday segments with any kind of lizard or gecko talk, because one thing that I'm I can't say very, calm down, don't be cocky, but okay, one thing that I got down last year was breeding grasshoppers. And
we've heard your grasshopper conversation.
Yes. Okay. I'm just telling you, I'm proud of it. But these grasshoppers, when they're born, they're tiny.
They're
tiny.
Like,
what do you guys think about grasshoppers? Like, obviously, I heard they're way better than crickets. Yeah, I would do grasshoppers. Our friend Brian Susan, as you probably already know, breeds grasshoppers because I'm pretty sure that was mentioned.
Yep.
And I had never seen anybody breeding them before, and he like showed us the whole cycle,
setup,
and then they lay these things, and you were picking little babies out, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I would feed those all day.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if I have the wherewithal to breed them.
Same.
You don't need it. Okay, here's the thing. I have mine, and I only have one ReptiBreeze enclosure, right? And I think it's 36 inches tall, and like I don't know, like the standard large size ReptiBreeze. Yeah. And I do everything in there only because, like, you could stop production. Like, all you have to do is eliminate heat from the soil, and whatever they lay just doesn't lay, right? But if you leave that soil hydrated, damped, and warm, if it's at 85, it doesn't stop. It's like a machine.
Really?
It's just it's nonstop. And I can't tell you, like, I don't have that many. I have my Persinuses, I have the lace monitors, and then I have the one lychee, and then I have a yellow spotted climbing toad. Those are like the only things that eat grasshoppers. But I'm talking about they produce so much to where like I feel like a collection like yours would just thrive off grasshoppers.
Potentially, yeah.
We could totally do it. I haven't asked Brian what I don't know if he's in those chats and can mention it, but I haven't asked him if he's tried feeding them to his cresteds and what their feeding response was like, but I can't imagine.
Mine go crazy. My lychee right out of my hand. He goes ballistic. Yeah. Right.
That's so funny. We have Thelma, who we sent you a video of. She is that angry, like constantly yells at you. I'm actually surprised she's not yelling at us right now.
I love
it. Sometimes she just like, all you gotta do is spray her face and she's just like, oh, I'm happy again. And same thing with bugs. She loves eating them. So that would be a fun one to feed.
I want to kind of touch on this because we were talking about the levels of enrichment for keeping geckos. And for the most part, I will say, well, I don't know. I don't want to be judgy, but there is somebody local of me who I went over to their house and he's like, I have these really rare crested geckos. And they were just kept in a rack over paper towel. And he just wasn't typical what I know gecko. Like you could tell that he hasn't cleaned it in a while, but they looked healthy. Like they looked like, I'm like, holy shit. Like even though I don't like what they're in, they look, this is a beautiful animal. Like I could tell like it doesn't take much, I guess. Right. No. But that's kind of like a ball python too, right? A lot of people push back about, and this is not I'm not doing this just because I recently had a pet tuber on my show, but like, I'm not against people wanting to do what you have going on behind you for a ball python, because even though a gecko could get away with it in a tub on just paper towel, look how much they love what you provide them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like standards is something that we just need to continue to carry higher and higher and higher. And I think the gecko game is just ahead. I think you guys are when it comes to standards, you guys are just ahead of the curve, I think.
Thank you. Well, we try. It's our goal. Like, if you can afford to keep an animal, you should be able to afford to house them. Yeah. Like,
I agree.
There are plenty of ways that you can afford them, house them affordably while still providing proper care. We were actually finding that cleaning all these paper towels in here was totally getting away from us. And we're just like, this is not what we want. We don't want people to come over and be like, dude, those paper towels are gross. They're like disintegrate. None of that. So we just switched it up straight, and we're finding that we really like it. But it's funny that you say that about the ball pythons. We have 3 ball pythons that are at our friend Matt's house. And we actually put them in these gorgeous cages with lights, the PVC. We like tried to give them like a lot of climbing space. And the funny thing is, like, one of the 3 of them completely shut down from eating because she was raised in a small tub. So for her, she was really uncomfortable. But I do think that if we started them from smaller sizes and gave them that and got them used to it earlier, they would have been more content with the space.
And our friend now has them. As soon as he put her back in a rack, she ate that day.
Instantly.
Hadn't eaten in like a month and a half.
No, it was like 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Either way, I lost track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what all I'm saying is, like, you know, let people do them. You know, like
for sure.
If people want to go get a 4x2 and deck it out, God bless you. Go ahead. Like I just have over 100, and I can't do that. So
And I mean, as far as paper towel goes, like I still keep hatchlings like on paper towels. Everything up to like almost 6 months old is on paper towel.
Yeah. I think paper towels are great because you can observe like when they're pooping and things like that when they're little. That's important. But as they start getting bigger, the dirt's great. We only use springtails. We're trying not to use anything. I found one had powder blues in it, and I was like, no, because we don't want them to eat eggs or anything like that. But we do springtails and the Bioactive, and it, you know, the Bioactive dirt, and it, you know, breaks everything down. And this is easier for us, like I said. So
it's so much easier.
Yeah. It's like a bit of both. We like husbandry, and we also, you know, like to be a little easier.
So Brad, I'm curious, what is it like as far as spot cleaning and then replacing the whole substrate? Like, how often do you doing that? And I'm curious.
Oh, almost never, because we have it bioactive. Like, it's completely kind of cooked in. So like I'll spot clean occasionally, like when I see it like get a little bit too built up, because I mean, you can have all of the isopods and springtails in the world, and they can't eat absolutely everything that a gecko's gonna put in there mess wise. So I'll occasionally go, but I've saved so much time and effort in having to completely change out paper towels, because it'll be like females during the middle of breeding season. You have to take apart their entire enclosure, put it back together, it stresses them out. Sometimes you might skip a month on eggs, and it's just not worth the stress. So I'd rather go and have the substrate. They can dig around in that and lay in it. That was the other part of us going to substrate too, is for the egg laying, because we had egg boxes and most of ours loved to lay in the egg boxes, but a few of them just didn't. And if you get eggs outside of the lay box on paper towel, you have about 24 hours to catch that before they're completely dried up.
Yeah, they dry out really fast.
Really fast.
They need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They need that.
Yeah.
So
I
it's been necessity.
Yeah.
And, then, like, for the babies, those get changed out like every week or every other week kind of deal.
And how on top of you guys knowing when a female is going to drop? I mean, are you guys kind of like, okay, like keeping records and shit like that? Like, okay, like,
Yeah, we write it on the page front and like chalk
If you
marker.
can see behind us, we'll have the male
right?
who was paired. We'll have the date that he was in with her, and it'll just be the most recent date. And then on the side, it'll say eggs, and it'll have the date. So whenever we or the people that we have work for us come and help us, or we're doing it, they'll say, oh, she laid 30 days ago. Let's be sure to add her into the cycle of who we're digging for eggs for today. So it's really like, it's easy to keep up with.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know, I'm always curious, you know, a lot of people don't understand how important it is with monitors this is, as far as, you know, once a female goes the distance as far as ovulations, you got to pull that male, right? Because the female gets very defensive. What's the deal with the geckos and the males? Like, are you pulling the males, or you let them stay in there? What's going on with that?
No, we house everything individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we do our pairings, we'll put the male in for a couple of days. You know, we'll always kind of keep a loose on them to make sure that, you know, everybody's getting along okay. And then after 3 to 5 days, we'll pull him and put him back in his own enclosure.
Because guys, they have personalities, they have moods. Like some of them are just not feeling it, right? And they
exactly, yeah.
Well, honestly, they're like horny little toads that they just jump on it and then they're done.
Usually we can put them in there for like 3 hours and
then it's done.
We're good.
And then after that, anything else is a bonus. Plus, the females retain the sperm. I think it's up to, like, some people say longer. We just usually give the general statement of 9 months or so during one whole lay period. We'll have a female go from one to the next and not skip a beat, and she'll lay, you know, 8 clutches and you're 16 eggs in and all are fertile. Yep. Some of them you'll see like 1 and 1 where it's dud and fertile, and then you'll put the male back in and go from there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. You can just do 1 or 2 pairings all year long for a couple of days, and that's all you need.
Yep.
And then after a while, it's just all systematic. It's just like literally like just boom, boom, boom. And then you have certain things that are going right after another. And then it's like, and just kind of moving down the line at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it goes in waves.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, talking about production here, where we at? Like, I mean, are you guys doing record numbers every year, or are you holding back certain times? Like, what's going on as far as your production goes?
I feel like each year we're adding a few more females. You're never gonna get.
Pause. When you say adding, do you mean adding as in like somebody else's females that are already proven, or just a new baby? Like, what do you mean by adding females?
A lot of it's stuff that we're growing out. Like, my number one like ode to the crested world is buy your babies, because nobody's gonna sell you the nice shit that you're gonna want.
Right.
Because they're not going to want to sell it because it's so nice. So find parents of geckos you like, buy babies. Anyways, we raise a ton of babies up, and we'll be like, okay, we love these 10, and then we're okay with letting these few go. So that's what we'll try to move up. And this year we expanded into a little bit more. It's not too much. And so this year we did just from January to January, basically, or January to December, we did, I think it was 550 eggs that hatched out. There are that doesn't count like stuff that's failed or whatnot, but we only count the ones that have hatched. And we could have probably done a little bit more. We were kind of slow on a few females that we weren't really keen on, like putting them through another season or whatever. So some didn't lay, but we usually expect anywhere from like 500 to 800. So with the numbers that we have. Yeah, it's a lot. Downstairs, we have a whole downstairs space, and that's our baby room, and it's like walls of racks.
Yeah.
Now, how important do you guys feel like having a baby room and adult room? Like, do you feel like that's kind of crucial for people at some point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, your
Why?
temperatures can kind of vary too. Babies do better at like a higher temperature more consistently, and like the females, you can like raise and lower the temp. So it's kind of nice. We have a split zone for air conditioning.
Like,
so
this is actually probably the first time these lights have been on for these females behind us in
a
couple months. Like I've been cooling them, and now it's getting time to start putting these back on again during the day.
They generate enough heat that actually helps.
Yeah.
Without having to like use space heaters, because that's like a huge fear of mine.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it's
Terrifying.
so risky. But let's talk about the temps. So what in the adult room? What do you guys keep the temps daytime and nighttime? I'm curious.
It stays around between like 70 and like probably 72 up here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty chilly.
Yeah, we're cool. We keep them cooler.
we keep it pretty cool up here. But the lights that are in there,
right,
they'll create a little bit of a warm spot. So we've temp done it before. It'll be like upper 70s.
Yeah.
And it's just a small spot. It's not the entire enclosure. So
yeah,
they can move to warm up if they want to, but the ambient in the room is about 71, 72.
Yeah.
And the babies are kept at what?
The babies kept a little bit warmer, about a consistent 72.
73.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
we could warm it up some more and maybe
could
get even a little bit more growth out of it, because they do really well in that like 74, but we don't like living in 74.
Nope.
Wow. And you would say this is just for certain species of geckos? Or are you saying overall, like even if you had leeches and cresteds together, this would be the ideal temps?
We do.
Yeah,
we have leeches, cresteds, gargs, but they all have lights, so it warms them up, and we'll keep those on year round for them.
Wow, that's so cool. Because I mean, listen, I was listening to my buddy Alex when he was giving me shit about, he's like, oh, you should feed it more. He also said that, put it in my snake, because in this room, this is the arboreal room, right? So right now it's 70 on the warmer side of this, during this time of year, it's 77 in this room, but then it drops down to like 72, even 69 degrees. But that's probably better than it being consistently 80 to 78 then, right?
Oh,
I would keep your leechie in that room for sure.
So I'm talking about, my boy Alex doesn't know everything.
Hey, but listen, what works for us also can work 10 other ways for other people.
Yeah.
To be very honest, these guys are really easy. It's why there's such a nice transition from selling pets to having like bigger breeders, because there's really a market for everybody, because you can't mess them up that bad.
Yeah, just like you said, you went to your friend's house and you saw that something might not have been living in what you thought was ideal conditions, but the gecko was still thriving. They're super hardy like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because, like, if it's one thing I respect people in this game are the OCD people. Like, if you're OCD, you're going to flourish in this game no matter what you do, right? And then there's some people that just aren't OCD, and that just drives me nuts. And it's just like,
him too.
I will say, without getting too, obviously, I don't want, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here, but I remember a couple years ago when I was going by people I really looked up to over social media platforms. I would look up to them, then I would actually go to their place. And I remember one, and it was a kind of busy day. I don't remember. I can't remember what was going on, but I remember we were going through the RHACS looking at things, and he was showing me his beaded lizards, and like all 4 of the beaded lizards had shit in their water, and he would just show me and then close it, and I'm like,
clean the water.
I did. I was like, sorry, bro.
Let me open the drawer. I'll take care of this.
And mind you, these things were fucking gorgeous. And this is the first time me seeing it. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And the sink was right there. The sink was right there. And I was like, and so I was like, hey, I just opened it back. I was like, dude, I don't mind. I'm just going to do this real quick. And he's like, and then he told me, water changes are on Wednesday. And it was a Sunday. And I'm like, so you're going to wait 3 more fucking days just so this thing could sit. And dude, I couldn't fucking believe it. And so that's when I was like, you need to stop glorifying everyone, man, because not everyone has the same kind of especially people who've been doing this for a long time. You know this, Gabby, like South Florida people who are tapped out. I mean, and not just South Florida people, anybody who really never had a good high standard in this game don't have standards at all now. Like they're over it. They're just over it.
The friends that I would go and see, actually, do you know who Mike Bell is?
Yes, I do know who Mike Bell is.
So I went to Mike Bell's house, and his was amazing. He did a really good job. He'd sold his collection, but I went to Mike Bell's. His was great. There was other people that we went to. I won't say them because I don't know how people feel about any of them.
Right.
And I don't know anymore, so I don't want to put my foot in the wrong place with like.
Hey, listen, it's easy to do that nowadays. So.
Yes, there's a lot of things out there. But I went to it, and like the RHACS were it was just, they were homemade and badly built and wood fraying and some were wonky. I'm like, your snake's still in there? Is it okay? Paper towel or newspaper with print on it, and I'm just like, none of this is acceptable for me. And this was somebody who had really expensive high-end animals, and I just was like, I'm good. So I know exactly what you mean, and it's disappointing. They say never meet your idols. We don't want to be those people. We always want to try to set a good example. We have people come to our house, which probably isn't the best thing, but whatever, and pick animals up, and they come in here and they're like, oh, this is amazing. And we're like, oh, this is just what it looks like whenever we're here. We try our best to be on top of it. So OCD is where it's at.
And I just feel like you as a person, no matter who the person is, just don't I mean, first and foremost, I don't know, if you can't talk to the person to do better by the animal, kind of have that talk. But when it comes to having that talk to somebody who's been doing this for a long time, they don't want to hear it. They don't give a shit. They don't want to hear it. Yeah. And that's why it's it's tough to even, especially when you're somebody who's been in the game less than 5 years like me. I'm not going to, who am I to say, but I hold one person hold high and mighty, because during this consistent back-to-back experience of people I thought that were top tier and their husbandry is not top tier, I was devastated to meet Barczyk, because there were so many people who had so many things to say about Brian Barczyk. And I remember before going to Brian's place, I was scared. I'm like, dude, I'm about to see something to make me not want to like Barczyk anymore. This is probably gonna be my one and only time I go to Brian's place. But dude, it was the most life-changing experience I've ever seen. Brian is he's the exact same person that you see on camera, as far as his passion, but the cleanest, fucking nicest reptile zoo I've ever been at in my entire life.
That's what I like to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Dude, I've been back there 4 times. I've been going back there for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's astonishing. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen anything like this, and he's expanding. But listen, that's why I'm like, okay, listen, it's just not easy to do. When you're a creator, when you're an influencer with the animals, all you really care about is the clicks and getting paid off YouTube. Yeah. But Brian, he cares about the well-being of the animal first. And it's so hard to do, but he does it. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome. I'm happy because that's a hard one. If there's somebody that you follow that you like, and you want to know that you feel good about supporting their businesses or their any of that, and that's important.
Well, because if it's one thing I've realized lately is how much a piece of shit somebody could be and still be around. And it's like what does it take for somebody to do something where somebody will not give them money? Turns out you could be a fucking dog killer. You could be all these piece of shit things that people are still going to spend money with you, right?
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy, but they're not all bad is what I'm saying. And people like Brian who went through the ringer, you want to talk about a whole industry turning on you. That's what happened to this guy. And what's crazy is he fought it through, and just, I mean, he's legendary in my eyes. I hope you guys get to experience the Reptarium someday. I love taking my crew with me right after Tinley. We usually go to Tinley, and then we take the drive from there to the Reptarium and just have a fucking sick ass time.
Where is it?
It's in Michigan, Utica, Michigan. It's
a
4-hour drive or something like that.
Okay.
But what we do is
these days we'll have to
plan it out.
Oh man, it would be awesome, man. But listen, that's what I'm saying is that's when I realized there are people who care. There are people who break their fucking back to make sure that the standard is high. And if you're not doing that, then with all due respect, don't try to be an influencer. If you can't back up the well-being of your animals, but you have that personality, then it's a facade. It's not genuine. And this hobby needs more genuine keepers, is what I'm saying.
I agree. Did you ever go to the Serpentarium out here? There was one in Wilmington.
I heard about that. I heard that was a legendary place too.
It was awesome.
I know. We went back and they were closing. I think that the owner, I forget what,
the owner died.
He passed away. It was so sad. And that they did a good job, I felt, with husbandry. And it was really nice because it helped normalize snakes. We had some friends over today actually who they were saying how their daughter was having nightmares, would always be like, there's snakes in her bed. By the time she left, she was holding the hog nose and the baggy nose. I was so proud. Yeah. So we like when we can help change for the better,
It's crazy how kids can like first and foremost, this brings the kid out of us, right? Like, don't you feel like a child? Like, come on, like for real, like come on. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna out child my future child. Like I'm just always having a good time. But you know, I got to meet Miles. What a boy, right? And you know,
everybody loves Miles. He's a lot of fun.
The kid wants a blackhead python right off the bat. And I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, that's number 3 on my list, pal.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
What 4-year-old have you ever heard of that wants to say he wants a blackhead python? And
then he said emerald tree boa, very player. Like it's just but what does that do to your guys' spirit? I mean, do you guys feel like a lot of things that you guys do mold around it being something that Miles wants to do, or do you just kind of let Miles do it if he wants to do it, or like what? How do you guys really do that? I'm curious.
Well, we kind of let him take it as he wants to take it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because he is constantly immersed in it, you know, in the house, and we bring him to some of the shows too, and he'll pinball around the show, and he gets to see all kinds of things.
But the best is he walks up to things and he's like, that's a blue tree monitor, which you never see anyway, but he'll be like, that is a leopard gecko, that is a fat tail gecko, that is a bearded dragon, and he knows all of the species.
You can go up to like any table and he's at least like 80+% on accuracy.
It's so cool.
It's pretty good.
And honestly, the way that it works by nurturing this is mommy says yes, brings something home, and daddy rolls his eyes and is like, fine. So
you got to keep that dynamic. The good cop, bad cop is important. Like, you know what I mean?
Because it works. And the best one is we just went to the reptile show, and we went to the Raleigh reptile show. We've ended, and Brett was like, no more, nothing. I don't want mammals in the house. No mammals. We have 3 Great Danes. They're all downstairs being lazy, but we have the dogs, and you know, we have a tortoise named Kevin that is named after Fireside Kevin, actually.
Nice.
And
that's my dog right there. Shout out to Kevin.
He loves Kevin. So
Miles loves
tortoise after Kevin. So anyways, we go, and he's like, I want another Piccolito, which was a mouse that we had. Somebody was supposed to be food and never got fed. It was so stinking cute and just died because it's a mouse.
Right.
So I said, okay, let's go. And Brett was like, no. And I was like, we're just gonna look. We're just gonna look. He comes back in a little plastic carrying case.
It's like, I swear to God.
Rat. And he named her Chicho.
Oh
and
my God.
she has this like massive cage now. She's so social, and every morning he goes downstairs, he goes, Chicho, I'm gonna get your belly. I'm gonna get your belly. And like, he's obsessed with her, and she loves him, and she doesn't bite. She's super social. And then the other part that's funny is every morning he wakes up, and before he comes in the room, he goes up to, he has this one gecko. I don't know why he likes her so much. She's never out. Her name is Spearmint Rhino, which I
Spearmint Rhino
that I used to go to. Well, I didn't go to, but the guys we were going to go to. And I was like, oh, Spearmint Rhino. This is like a place that we went. I loved it. And we have another one
in Vegas. You're talking about the Vegas one.
Yeah, there's one, but it was the one in West Palm.
Yeah.
We have glitter gold from a story we heard about the strip club in Vegas.
I've had some because I used to DJ. So whenever we would, I would go to raves in Vegas, we would go after party at the Spearmint Rhino, and like
Spearmint Rhino.
I've had breakfast there.
Yes, if you walk around our room, you'll find some gems hidden amongst the names. But everyone who
I haven't heard that in a long
Rhino.
time.
Hi, Spearmint Rhino. Hi, I love you, Spearmint Rhino. And I'm just dying inside laughing because he's like just referencing the strip club that was in West Palm that we would ever occasionally go to. So
I love you guys that much. I love you guys that much more now. Like, it's crazy.
Thank you.
Like,
we have a Dirty Sanchez and a Glory Hole and butt stuff and a few other funny like inside jokes that are great. Butt stuff is for Kenny Constricta, Kenny Lugo. Yeah, you can ask him that story. It's funny.
Everybody ask Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. Just when you see Kenny, just tell Kenny that you want to hear the butt stuff story, and he's gonna roll his eyes and be like, "It's not a big deal," and then you'll hear all that. So.
I'm very, and just
love you, Kenny.
Just as anyone else would, I'm very proud to call Kenny a friend. Like,
we're very lucky to have him.
Kenny's a solid guy.
Yeah,
and like, no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening in my reptile career, he's there just to help me out and keep me grounded. Like, he's my brother. Like, he's my big brother, right?
Oh yeah.
How did you guys meet Kenny? I have to ask you.
Great story, actually.
So
I'll let her tell us. I'll be right back.
You go. So I had just gotten back into the crested world, and Facebook wasn't a thing. So did you start, you said you started when you were on kingsnake.com?
I no, like, what do you mean? Like, I was
Like when you first started buying, how did you buy animals?
Yeah, so I started buying stuff. Basically, it was Craigslist. I bought my first
Honestly,
ball pythons. Craigslist, and I met a friend off Craigslist who started hooking me up with like adult females, and then it went from there to King Snake and Fauna. The what was it, Fonda or something?
No, it was Fauna Classified.
Fauna Classified.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
So those were the only places that I knew where to buy. So then I reemerged into this world, and I'm like, oh my God, we went from just like Craigslist and like, you know, a couple of things, Petco and wherever else you can find animals or local reptile shops,
right,
to like having this worldwide web of Facebook. And so I went on and I put out like an in search of post, and somebody messaged me and they showed me these beautiful pictures, and I had no idea. Like, I didn't know what scammers looked like, and you know, so I get this, I talked to this person and I'm like, yeah, I want it. I want this female. And it was Kenny's female that I was being scammed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. This is years and years ago, and Kenny was so nice and so gracious and like totally like walked us through everything, helped us, and was just such a good, kind human being, and like didn't like make me feel like I'm an idiot, which I probably was at the time, but I just didn't know. You know, I didn't know how the social media scene was working and how people were scamming other people like that. So
yeah,
that happened. We connected that way, and it's just kind of been the rest is history. We have a bunch of mutual friends. We all hang out. I just saw Kenny this past weekend. So Brett was in Atlanta. He came and surprised us in Baltimore. We have pictures, and it was so nice.
Hey, the way Kenny just pops up out of nowhere, though, it's like his signature trait.
Just pops up.
He ain't gonna tell you he's coming. He'll just come, and he's like, "Dude, Kenny, you're here." And it's like I can't tell you how many times I spotted him. Like I said, the Culvers with Brian. And I was like, dude, you're here, and like he didn't tell me, and he's like, bro, I moved quietly. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right,
that's exactly what he says too.
Yeah,
I feel like he came to our house one time randomly.
He literally
like
showed
hand
up to our
delivered a
house.
gecko.
Yeah,
from New York.
No, he actually hand delivered me my wand from my Harry Potter wand.
Oh, that's right.
It was a birthday present,
yes.
and I'm a nerd, so it was very nice.
Now, guys, you got to admit, no matter what department of the reptile industry we speak of, it's growing. I feel like anything that you breed in the reptile world is growing. I mean, gecko is definitely one of the biggest ones. For anyone out there who's at that level of ready to sell and put production out there, what's some tips for anyone out there before they kind of like start letting go of their stuff? Like, how would you guys recommend letting go of certain product and like, you know, compared to like holding something back or something like that? You know what I mean? And while you're saying that, I'm going to fill up my water. I can listen. I can hear everything you're saying.
No, you're good. You're good. That's a tough question because I feel like having people who are your friends and building even a community of people who are kind of, even if they're newer with you, having a mentor, those people can kind of help guide you, and really just watching what the market is doing and like do some social media postings and things like that. That all will help get you started on putting things out there.
If you're like just starting out, like if it's your first season of hatching things, get through that whole season, hash out everything, you know, get a little bit of size on it and just look through. Yeah. And, you know, from there, like you pick out your favorite ones and those you hold back. Like breed for yourself first and foremost.
Or pick out varieties of like, this one has a lot of white in it and then this one doesn't. And then this one does this. Like hold 3 back and see how they develop and grow, or hold them all back if you have the time and the patience, because if you can hold on to them, you can see, plus they're more valuable as they get bigger for the most part. So I think that's a good question, figuring out how to get out there like that.
Well, I want to
definitely put a little bit of size on it because we've let a few go. They're kind of small.
But that's the good thing.
It is. You get to make some people's day.
You
get some people some deals.
And I'm going to tell you why though too.
Yeah.
There are times where I hear people that are like, I'm kicking myself. I sold this gecko and this was the worst thing I ever did. And I'm like, no, you did was you did let go of something for a decent price point or something that you might have held back, but you are now giving yourself instant like social media presence because that person's gonna love that animal and post the shit out of that animal, and that is free advertising for you and your business. And then I'm gonna see that animal on social media and be like, I need that, let me contact this person and buy from them. So yes, sometimes it's a painful loss, but at the same time it's also probably beneficial for your business. So.
For sure, we've had to go both ways.
Yeah.
want to introduce you to somebody. Somebody very close to me. The mayor of Chondrotown. Do you know who that is?
The mayor of Chondrotown.
Yeah, good old Bill Stiegel out of Texas. Have you ever heard of Bill Stiegel?
Bill Stiegel. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We've seen, I recognize that chondro right on his
That's
photo.
that's the sickness
That
right
is
there.
disgusting and amazing in a good way.
It's actually called the sickness. So that
The
makes
sickness.
I know
Hi, Bill.
exactly who you're
Love,
talking about.
love,
yes.
love.
Okay.
I actually think I followed the account and I don't know the name behind it.
That's
Phoenix Reptiles. Phoenix Reptiles.
Yeah,
that's
mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So-
funny.
Bill, Bill comes from a background of holdback legacy. And what I mean by that is, this guy along a couple other chondro breeders I look up to, like they have certain things they don't even consider selling to after a year or
Yeah.
two. You know what I mean? Because there's so much change that could happen, right?
Mhm.
And you think of a chondro, either comes out yellow or some
Red,
sort of a shade of red, right?
Yeah.
And these guys like Bill and people who've been doing stuff like this on that level know what kind of reds to hold back, right? It's almost like a given, but this is why patience is always on your side, because if you're not in a rush and you want it and you want to watch it grow and go through the process, you could experience something so amazing just by watching this thing transform into what it could be. But then also you never want to shoot yourself in the foot and sell something that you never know what it's going to be. So I love that the chondro game and the gecko game have that in common. Like, just hold on, because like a ball python, it for the most part,
You know what you got.
No,
right off
for
the
the
bat.
most part, they're prettier when they're babies, and you're like, go, you
That's
go now.
Yeah.
Gabby, I will say that's changing with the recessives, like the DG stuff. Like they're
for sure.
it's slowly starting, and that's what God bless people like Mark Bailey and Justin Kabelka and Miguel Garcia, who are coming out with these morphs now with that are aging better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, for the most part what it's going to be when it comes out. When like I like the suspense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then only that. People who really follow you are on your ass. They're like, hey, what's going on with that animal? You know what I mean? And that's how you just build the community. It's I love it.
It's so fun, isn't it?
You should be wanting to go that route, like versus like, let me see what I could get for it right today. Like, no, hold on. Like, aren't we creating a legacy here? Like that's what we're trying to do. So I love that. I think that's smart. You know what I mean?
It's funny. One of my like top 10 snakes that I got, or the first few snakes I got, was one from Justin Kabelka, and I got the like letter of authenticity that it was actually, Het for Pied, because Het for Pied was like the craziest thing. Like when I started, I forget, who it was. It was, do you remember what's his name? Jay
who? Prehistoric Death Jay?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not Prehistoric Pets Jay. What's the other Jay? Wasn't it Jungle something?
I said Prehistoric Death, by the way, but anyways.
Oh yes. Yeah. Thank you. Not that one though, but they're of the same caliber.
Jay, who's the other Jay? Who the hell is the other Jay?
Was it Jay?
I only know of one Jay.
I don't want to say the wrong Jay, and then it's not. It's just a Jay. We'll put it out there.
Okay, Jay.
I'll remember and I'll message you and I'll see if it's who it is. I think it was. Okay. But he pulls out this snake, and I just died. And it was a pied. It was the first pied. He was like, I paid $26,000 for this thing, and I was like, hot dog, I need one. So when the market came down from Justin, I wish I still had it, but it was his like letter of authenticity or whatever.
What'd you pay for that? Was it a pos head or was it het? What was it?
I think it was actually a pos het, and it was like $800-900. It was the dumbest thing I'd ever paid money for. I know. Now,
but like think about the risk of the ball python game back then. You know what I mean? But that's why this is why. Hello, you buy a production from Kabelka, more than likely that's going to hit pied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't buy from a fucking a nobody. You know what I mean?
Never.
Absolutely not.
And that's the same thing in the gecko world. Build your relationships
with
the breeders that you like, follow the animals that you like, and then buy from the animals that have been bred. So that's how you can kind of guarantee the stuff that you like. That'll hopefully grow out the way that you want it to.
But I have to correct myself too, guys. Nowadays, you could get what you want from a nobody. That's a fact, because we're not working with. I mean, there is pos het stuff out there, but now we're talking about genetic testing, these sheds, right? And then now we're talking about these people just hitting visuals. Like these people who came into this game the right way are now making that high caliber shit where if you got the money to spend, and that's kind of why the ball python market's where it's at right now, because a lot of people have shit. And it's not like, you know, yeah, people still want the Miguel and Mark Bailey and the
Yeah.
Kabelka snakes, but still, like, there's people like the low end people, or not low end, excuse me, but the lower, you know, as
Lower
far
known, less
Yeah.
well known.
Yeah.
just like as far
The
as
not 1%.
because mind you, there's people who don't want to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
There's people who just post their animals and they're cool
Yeah.
with it. I know, because I try to get these people on the show and it's like twisting their arms sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, but there are like, that's a smart place to be, because these are people I've seen come in the game around the same time as I have, and they just got those pockets, but they were patient. They waited.
Yeah.
And now, like I will say, one credit to this guy who got a lot of shit in the beginning was a guy named Jordan, JP Reptiles of Canada. You ever heard of a JP?
Yes.
I feel like I have. Yeah.
I think that's from maybe. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So this kid, I mean, like he kind of shot himself in the foot a couple times, only because he came into this game very heavy, and he actually called himself Always Evolving Pythons Canada. And Miguel is Always Evolving Pythons. And Miguel's
Yeah.
already 2 years in the game with his feet concreted down.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, what? Like it was.
What are you doing?
He didn't do it on purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did it, and it was kind of like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
And it made people feel like very like some type of way. But if we speed things up to right now, like the guy did listen, he has a YouTube channel, he has his Instagram following, and he is making some of the nicest fucking ball pythons right now out of Canada. And
That's
and
nice,
he's
yeah.
selling like, bro, like he's been laid low lately, but he's still selling like nothing. And
Yeah.
it like you don't have to be, hey, look at me to have to sell shit if you're just grounded and you know how to market. You got to market though. Like
Yes, you
got-
do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You do.
Posting is so important. Am I right? Like you have to post.
Yeah. To be honest, I think where it's at are reels. You know, reels have
Reels.
just been
You have
like,
to. Yeah.
we actually were really lucky that early on when reels were starting to become more popular, we hit on TikTok and on Instagram. If you go like all the way down, we hit, what was it?
It's like 2.9 million views.
No, 18 million
really?
views.
God, so you had a couple viral reels then.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had a couple viral. If you go to like the actual, like, I don't know if you're in the reel section or not, but down in the reel section, all the way like closer to the bottom, that it was like a lily white
little
hatching. It got 18 million. And then on TikTok, we somehow have like 27,000 followers on TikTok. I don't even know how to use TikTok. So I really need to learn to be better because we have such a big following already. So anyway, so down there somewhere, maybe up one or two. Go up
18
one more.
under 2K. Oh, right here. Oh my
There it is.
Lord. Look at this.
Yeah.
It just like it was,
18.3 million. That
yeah,
was
isn't that crazy? And it also
Okay.
did it on TikTok, and they're not even related. Boom, bye.
I've seen like some stupid reels. I've seen some stupid reels get like millions of views, and I have
Millions of
no clue.
views.
But this is well deserved right here. This
Well,
is what I'm.
thank you.
Look how cool this is.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that one hit.
Let's go.
I don't know how it happened, but it hit so many views, and like it was so cool to see and like motivational. But I also probably could make more, and you know. But a lot of people are like, I thought it was a pill, and then a gecko pops out. Those are like the commentary.
What and guys, please do me a favor right now. Go give these lovely two a follow right now on Instagram. Go get these up right now. I gotta say that's awesome what I just looked at. But
Yeah.
what would you guys say? Like for instance, what day was that? Like as far as incubation goes, what day did you know what day that
I think that was on like 100 or 90, something in that range. Usually that's where we go. What happened was the clutch mate hatched. And so sometimes I'll just like handle it and see like if it looks like it's kind of moving around in there. And then that one was just like wiggling. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna hatch any second. Hatched, and that's how it went. So it was fun to watch and capture.
Super dicey, and this is crazy because this topic, it's like you never expect this person to say what they're going to say when it comes to cutting an egg open, but some people just would never. They don't care what happens, they don't ever cut an egg, right?
We will never cut
We
an
don't
egg.
cut eggs now.
So what I will do, because they die.
Yeah.
To be very honest, I'd rather it like not make it out. But like if you cut an egg, they don't make it. There's just something about them like emerging from the egg that like actually helps that. But if there are times, what we'll do is we'll candle and kind of tickle, scratch the egg. But that's not something I recommend doing either.
Yeah.
We could talk about it another time if somebody ever wants to ask about it. But that is the only way. And you'll see the movement in the egg. There will be times where one is kind of going a bit longer, and we'll see it trying to get out, or maybe the egg teeth didn't form, something happened.
Right.
That's when we'll kind of just like, all right. and they never end up making it, which is the hardest part. So
Yeah.
Man,
it's kind of one of those things. Crested eggs, we just don't. It's just it doesn't make it worth cutting.
Yeah.
You want to tell me, like, okay, like this dickhead here, and I mean with all due respect, but to myself, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, like, I've come from, I'll cut the shit out of a ball python egg.
Oh my God, all day.
For sure.
I yell at Dorian because he just sits there and he's like, I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to cut it. And then he always cuts it. I'm like, just own that you're going to cut it. They're the best. Cut it. I want to see.
So many of my goddamn mistakes breeding chondros is because I'm fucking treating it like a ball python clutch.
Yes.
And that's where I go wrong. Mind you, okay, last year I had quite the fucking Jesus. I had 11 beautiful eggs, man. 11 beautiful eggs go the distance. And here we go. I'm lying to myself. I thought I saw a pip, right? I thought I saw a streak in the egg. I'm like, oh my God, he wants to come out. And so what do I, and this is day 52, which there's like a day 52 to day 60 mark. So there's still time, you know?
Yeah.
So what do I do? Because I'm like, hey, I've cut a ball python egg like 2 weeks by accident and it was perfectly fine. I was like, it's not going to hurt if I just snip this one. And I snipped all of them. I cut all of them.
OMG.
Oh, man.
I cut all of them, and I got a Q-tip to confirm they were all alive. They were all alive, okay? And so the next day, I come, and I'm like, they're not out. So I go look, 6 of them are dead. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
So I go from 6 to 5 right off the bat, and I'm just like, and then I notice that the other ones are all moving. It's fine, right? I come back the next day, 2 more dead. And I'm like, I pull them out. They're fully formed. Like, and there was maybe one that looked like it, like, just, I don't know what was up with it, right?
Yeah.
But then I go down all the way down to 3, and these 3, like, they eventually eat. They all do really, really well. But then the third one never had its first shed, and we're talking like 4 months later, it's eating and it's still not shedding. It's shitting, but it's not shedding, and it just suffocates because the skin just never sheds. So it's suffocated.
Oh no.
Number 2, prolapse. After I had 12 solid meals.
No
problem. And then next thing you know, prolapse, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And then the last and final one, just 3 months ago, died of a prolapse after.
No.
Wow.
So lesson, never cut those eggs.
Yeah.
But you never know. It could have been the first. Was it her first season?
No, it was her second clutch. Yeah.
All right. Never cut the eggs. I was going to try to find a reason, but no.
And listen, at the end of the day, everyone I spoke to said you should have never fucking cut those eggs. And I just feel like not only with, I mean, you just think something that small, right? Like a ball python is like a retic egg. Those are different, right? But something that tiny, it has to be something about them being able to come out on their own.
That's what I'm thinking about the cresteds.
And if they can't, then they're not meant to make it. They're just it's sad, right? And I do know certain chondro breeders do snip at a certain point, but then there's also certain chondro breeders who don't even believe in assist feeding. Like, if that thing does not want to eat, God bless it, it's dead. Like, that's
really?
Because they say that that's going to carry on. Like, if you have to make this thing eat, its babies are all going to have to be forced to be fed. And it is interesting. Not everyone does that. Some people, like my boy Sock, will assist feed something for a whole year. It's crazy.
Wow.
But like, there's other people, and like Ryan Young said it on this podcast. He doesn't force it, and he does it like, meaning when I mean that, he doesn't offer a first meal to a hatchling until like at least over a month or so. Like, he doesn't he doesn't do it too soon. And the guy has bred more python species in the private sector more than anyone in the United States. I think over 28 species of pythons this guy's bred.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's fucking so impressive. And you want to know something crazy? He has one big closet incubator, and everything's cooked in one incubator. And he has everything like he has the lower stuff on the bottom, and then the hotter stuff up top. That is sick.
That's amazing.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it just really depends. I don't know. I just feel like these things could do it in the wild, right? Like, these things, they're built for it. But the thing is, not everything. Like, I really wish. I know the numbers are difficult to kind of really pin down, but like, imagine the success, the hatch success rate in the wild. I really wish we knew what that was.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I think about that too, because like maybe they would be more populated had they actually had, more success with like certain things, and they might just have a low hatch rate in the wild, and we just are doing better in captivity than they would. So who knows?
Now, one thing about chondros is, and just in ball pythons too, is you were talking about nidovirus and stuff that you should worry about. Like, what is one thing that you guys maybe have like a biosecurity on? Like, I know we were kind of talking about the crickets and that, but is there anything else that you guys are pretty like making sure it doesn't hit your collection or anything with the geckos that we haven't talked about yet?
Honestly, like most everything else is so extremely rare that you have more issue with like heating malfunctions and like climate issues than you would with anything else.
Yeah, it's more something like mechanical on our part than something like biological coming in.
It's very uncommon. These guys are they're honestly just maybe they're just too stupid to die. They function well, and that's it. But they're cute, It's like, oh, you're cute, but you're dumb. That's how they are. So they're honestly really hardy, and that's another really, really nice benefit. Like I was so sick of ball python, and Brett gets mad at me because every like other year I'm like, I want to do balls again. I miss cutting eggs. And
then one won't want to eat for whatever reason because it dropped 1 degree or
they're just
whatever
smart
it is.
finicky.
I'm like, okay, forget this.
We're so spoiled.
Yeah,
they are so easy. So
because otherwise we have king snakes and carpet pythons
and hognose,
which eat all the time, whenever for no reason.
We actually got the Mexican black king snake first. Was she our first snake back kind of in for the most part? So that we could feed off like dead things. Like hatchlings that don't make it.
Yeah,
things like that.
Stillborn stuff. Yeah.
Which is cool to watch. It's cool to watch the cycle of like, it's one thing I always love having something that will basically eat it. Like, it's like, it's
garbage disposal system,
nothing goes to waste here.
No.
Like it's all, full circle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, what would you guys say the biggest challenge is doing what you guys do? Like, because let's be real. You have good days and bad days, just like everything else, right? What would you say a challenge that you guys like? It's like, it could either be the workload or it could either be like selling, or like, what would you guys say, like something that you could kind of prep people out there and just give them like the heads up of the biggest challenge doing what you guys do in the crested game?
I'll let her go first. I feel like we might have 2 different answers for this.
I feel like I know what your answer already is.
This should have been a hot seat question. Damn it.
It was a hot seat question.
Yeah.
The biggest, I don't know. Truthfully, like the part that I feel like can be tedious and difficult sometimes, and I know this sounds kind of like easy, is pairings, making the right pairings and making the right choices. And being really mindful about breeding. One of the biggest issues I have is with people just breeding to breed and then making babies that are ugly, and then like there's no intention. And I understand that like you have your first pair or whatever, but like breed with intention, and having to do that and thinking and lineage and genetics and all of that stuff. That's probably like the most fun and the most difficult. And then honestly, sometimes just having it in front of you all the time, knowing that it's something you have to do and it doesn't end,
Yeah.
In a good way, bad way. Is that answering the question? I don't even know.
No. Yeah.
I think my answer is with scaling. Once we got up to like the number of females that we have now, it's constantly, having to look for eggs, and this is probably like the most difficult time of year for us, or at least, for my end of it, because we've started doing pairings. So I have to start watching constantly on when they're going to lay eggs. Once you get their laying cycle established, it becomes much easier. But catching those first eggs is always the most difficult part. And then you start having, lots of babies because of that. And it's keeping tabs on everybody to make sure that you don't have like stuck shed on their feet.
Yeah, that's something you
or things
watch.
like that. I mean, it's like she said, we hatched like 550 animals last year. So that's just a lot of.
And to be honest, out of those 550, we had maybe 1 die from like just failure to thrive. So it's
good, but it's still you have to put eyes on everything.
Yeah. So if you're new, make sure you're handling the workload that you have or can afford somebody to help you, or if you need to hire somebody, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared and do it in a way that's, fun but manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett wants it all out of the house, so I don't blame him. So we're working on a facility, so that would be nice. That is what I thought he was going to say, is like having them in my face all the time.
And this is
just, yeah, that's a convenience thing, but yeah.
And having a wife that just keeps bringing more geckos.
That too.
I've been really good this year. I have not bought as much. We've sold a lot more than we've bought. So.
Did you tell them the story about when you just called me? We were at 10 lanes, like, oh, I just bought. I'm like, well, cool, you've already done it. She's like, I just spent $5,000 on a gecko. Like, not
that was at
10
the time.
minutes there
was
on
that
Friday.
The most expensive? I don't think that's the most expensive now. Gecko we bought, or I always say we. I lump him in very nicely to the we conversation when we buy things, but I think the most has been 6,000, maybe more.
Probably something there. But yeah, we just got set up at 10 lane, and she's like, I gotta go check out this table. Gotta go check out this table. Yeah, it was Pangea's table.
It was that guy right there.
Yeah, it was pretty scary, but she calls me when I'm like finishing up, and she's like, I just spent $5,000 on a gecko. I'm like, well, okay, I hope it's awesome because it's already done. Like, oh my god.
We're good. Scale it down. Live your best life. Don't go nuts. And pair mindfully.
Any show veteran knows that Friday is the day because it's set up.
For sure.
Yes.
And you do your, it's called a pro walk. You do your walks, you do your, you're just, you're mentally taking notes. Okay. You see that at that table. You're not showing any interest. You're just looking. And then when the time is right, that Saturday morning, man, that like fresh, or, mind you, if you want that bad, yeah, you could buy Friday. You could buy Friday, but like, mind you too, like, actually Friday is the day to seal it, but if you wanted just to get yourself a little bit more time, or you could play the wild card. And what I mean by that, for me, sometimes I have something that I feel like, I don't know how many people are really looking for that. So I'll wait for Sunday. You know what I mean? But some
that's
like,
a good point.
Sunday afternoon is
it's always a good
real
deal.
live. Yeah.
Especially because let's think about the priority list. Like, that 5K gecko or something you probably really wanted, but like, what about there's a $1,200 one that could be so like, wow, that's for $1,200. So what I'm saying is like the ones that aren't super priority, they could be priority when it comes to Sunday if it's still there. So it's like,
that's true. But I will say there's something about the gecko world that I feel like is mostly better than I had found in the snake world. Whereas like in the snake world, when you have genetics, right? And say you have 4 genes, right? Those 4 genes look similar to the other snakes out there that have those same 4 genes. Right. Whereas with cresteds, you can have 5 super Dalmatians and all 5 of them be considered the same whatever, and all look so different that people just jump. They don't haggle. They're not fighting. They're not like, oh, Brett over here has this 4 gene animal for this 4, you know what I mean? So it's not as, is it more competitive? It's less competitive because it's more, it's because they're polymorphic, and then you're getting all the different, traits in. I think that sometimes ball pythons being so straightforward with their genes makes it a little bit harder to be more competitive. Does that make sense?
You can get played off of other like breeders and stuff like that have the exact same animals on the table.
Whereas like if you have 2 tricolors, they're both gorgeous, they're both $5,000, they're 2 different animals. I don't know if that makes any sense. I could be making it all up in my brain, but
No, it's like people, like you can have siblings and
we're selling siblings now.
No. It's like people, like how you can have like a brother and a sister, and they'll get completely different sets of traits, or they might look simple. It's that whole deal. You know what I'm talking about.
I get you. Now I got something that you guys know what I'm about to be talking about, and this is the pre-wrap up question before the wrap. Like this is like the second to last wrap up question before we get to hot seat questions.
Okay.
And I guess I'm saving the best for last, but I want to know all about this event.
Are you ready?
Please tap me in. What is the Flora Fauna Conference? Tell me right now.
Okay, so that was actually last year's flyer. The best place to go if you want to go to the website, it's florafaunaconference.com.
Website. Okay, hold on, I'll pull it up.
Hit the website. And then I'm going to tell you all the things in as much of a nutshell because I know I'm ready for some hot seat stuff. But so Flora Fauna Conference came from actually 2 events, I would say. First one being we were in a room and we were sitting on the floor and we were all like just trading our top tier, nicest animals amongst just a small group of friends before a show. Right. And we're like, this is the best. We're drinking wine. We just ate. We had the best time. Everybody's a little drunk, getting rid of things that they probably shouldn't get rid of, but having so much fun doing it and like no regrets. So we were like, this would be such a cool concept if we could do this on a larger scale. So Flora Fauna Conference kind of was born. The venue is just incredible. It's in the mountains of the Catskills, it's in the Catskills, which are the mountains of North New York. Yep. Incredible skiing, but we're obviously doing it for the spring. There's amazing amenities, but the manor house and the barn, they're beautiful. So what we did was we created this concept, and it was a show that we all got together. You're invited to come basically trade high-end plants, high-end reptiles. Obviously, because we're in the gecko world, we're well known in the gecko world and established in the gecko world. A lot of it is a heavier gecko show. However, we do have a variety of reptiles and a really amazing variety of like incredible plants. Like there was one plant there. I think Sandy had one on the table for like $5,000. Of course, it's the one I liked. I didn't buy it.
Is this what we're talking about? Is this the Wyndham Manor?
So that's the manor house.
What? That's crazy. That's like out of the movie Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. So that house itself is 12 bedrooms that we have. What? So we have the people staying in that.
I want to stay there. What the?
You need to come and stay.
You need to show up.
It's gorgeous. There's a spa. There's a spa downstairs.
Can I DJ it? You want me to DJ it?
You can come and DJ. Oh my God, would you DJ?
Yeah, I'll fucking kill that shit.
You're invited. That's it.
I'll bring my mixer. I will kill this shit. I'm not joking.
No way. You have to do this. Then.
I'm a DJ. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, it's done. You're hired. So you're coming.
I can't wait. This is so sick. I love this.
It's so much fun.
Okay.
So if you keep scrolling, see if you can find a picture of the barn. The barn is what's insane.
Oh my God.
So that's inside. That's where we host the show.
That's where the show's going down?
That's where the show is. That's it. So you sit in these Adirondack chairs. You're sitting outside. You're in the mountains. There's a vineyard that comes in and vends wine. We have a fully stocked bar for our VIPs and our vendors. Our vendors are treated to parties and meals and all of this incredible stuff.
We're gonna rage.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it comes with
oh my God, nature.
Yeah, so that is the Enchanted Forest, which is where we tried to do our auction, but we ended up doing the auction inside. The auction is actually all the vendors putting in whatever their animals are that they brought. That's a holdback, and the vendor collects the money. And we also have stuff that's donated to different charities, USARC, things like that. So we also do. Cool, isn't it beautiful?
Dude. This is next level. Nobody's doing this. Nobody has
done this. No. So this was a new concept. It's really beautiful. It's very, very, very fun. And the relationships that you're building are just
life-changing.
Yeah, they're life-changing. You're making friends. We have Brian Butler from Altitude Exotics. We have Pangea. We have names, and you will see on the website. We have names of people that are coming that you wouldn't get to have that kind of interaction if not for this show. So very, very fun. And not only that, it's Friday is the layout, and I'll give you the concept of it. Friday is our welcome party. We're having a Cinco de Mayo party, tacos, margaritas. There's literally a margarita machine and a full bar and a bartender. It's the whole, like a whole party in one. We have karaoke. We have so much fun. You have to come.
Okay,
you're gonna love it.
And then I could do a live podcast and do a collaboration with the Gecko Pod.
You absolutely have to. Harry's coming. Harry's coming. Brian's coming.
Harry's AJ. The collaboration will be game-changing.
Yes, everybody's gonna be there. You have to come. The best part is that we changed this year from last year. So Friday we have a show that's a 5 to 8 p.m. show. Saturday we do a show from basically 9 until 4, and then we have an auction, cocktail hour, dinner, all this fun stuff Saturday night. There's also open spa appointments and other things that you could do too. Yes, if you want massage, you can like just go get a massage. And then Sunday we have yoga on the terrace. Did you see that spot where you saw overlooked everything? There's yoga there. Then there's what we're doing.
No,
the
Bill loves yoga.
portion.
We're gonna, dude. Oh my
yes,
God.
you have to come to yoga. So
this is like
you're gonna love it.
Exciting. I feel like this is like I'm hearing about EDC for the first time or something. I'm just like so pumped up. This is what the reptile hobby needs. Are you kidding me?
We wanted to treat the vendors how we wanted to be treated.
Yeah.
We care about the vendors. And the best part is the people who are attending are doing this incredible journey to come visit us. So you know you have serious people. So it's quality over quantity. And we actually have a bunch of Korean buyers that are already booked and coming. So we're really excited for that. So that will help promote a lot of really great business for our vendors. And then so Sunday is the newer concept for us. And I think this is something that you can lend yourself to really well. It is the conference portion of it. And we're going to have a brunch with mimosas and bagels and all sorts of fun stuff. Hello, you're in New York. You're going to have a New York bagel.
Right.
We're going to go. And we're going to sit down and we're going to have different conferences. So there's going to be different topics. There's going to be controversial topics. We're going to talk about genetics and lineage. We're going to talk about all sorts of different things. We're going to talk about how to promote your social media businesses, things like that. That's all free for the people who paid for the VIP tickets, things like that. So that would be something you would lend yourself very well to. M from Mzotic, she's wonderful. She's helping us. She'll be there. And we also have some other influencers coming that are just incredible people. And you'll have to come be a part of that panel if you're interested in doing it.
Girl,
and
listen,
so we're gonna do that.
Gabby, I don't know if you heard about how I killed at an animal con during my, listen.
I heard.
I moderated the main event. I had I killed that shit. Listen,
see, there you go. Now you don't even have to, you get to come be a part of it. You're one of the panel members.
I want to be a part of the team.
Yeah, you should definitely come join. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, because we're talking about something that is, with all due respect, there's people that have standards as far as where they want to go in this, and God bless them. This is a standard I want to be a part of because it shows the seriousness. And it's hard to take some people serious when all they do is social media. And it's just like, look at my following. And I love that people have big following, but what are you doing to connect? And there are people out there that just need to connect because they're on that serious level. This could be a huge hub of people who want to be noticed more, but like with the more serious end of things, not like, hey, can we sticker swap? You know what I mean? Like this is the next level of marketing and taking shit to the next level. Like, you kidding me? This is it. Can you hear me? Is it me? Is it me? Hold on. Oh, you're muted. Hello? You guys can hear me, right? They can't hear me. Is it me? Okay, guys, someone say something. Please tell me it's not me. Okay, I got it. Hold on. Is it me? Or my volume says good. Hello? Can anyone hear me? I would love someone just to comment. They can't, I think. Oh, no, you're good. MJ's good. Thank you. Fuck, guys. Like, you guys, like, I feel like I was talking to myself. Okay. I think we're good. I'll bring them back. They're coming back. Anyways, guys, maybe it was my excitement that muted them because I'm pretty excited over this. Hi, you're back.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
You're good. I thought it was me. I'm like pretty known for technical difficulties sometimes on this show. So I thought it was me, but I'm glad it wasn't this time. So
no, I'm so sorry. I think so. My phone's on Do Not Disturb and I have it turned off and something happened. Something came through and I was like, anyways. So, okay. I heard you were talking about how that this is something that would be great for social media and influencers and stuff like that. So I apologize. I'm sure everybody heard what you were saying. But
the thing is, like, no, and I don't mean to cut you off, Gabby, but it's not even the influencer side. It's people who, because some of the influencer side scares people. They don't want, like, they're just like, dude, I just want to sell my shit to people who are serious like me. And this is a serious type meetup with people who like you're gonna meet people who are out there and people who are just on the back end having the time of their life, and it caters to everything, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But more importantly, to the longevity of things. The reason why I could be snobby with certain people is because I feel certain people aren't gonna be here long. And with all due respect, if I don't have that energy, if I don't feel like you're about this shit for the long run, I don't want nothing to do with you, because I'm too busy. Like I am too like. I don't have no time to make fucking chit chat friends who are on about this, and this like events like this. This is oh
my gosh.
Let me know how I can help, please, because this is next level. This is.
I would love for you to come and join however you'd like to, or what you feel comfortable with. I think that this is a really great way. Like for example, I think it was Flora Fauna that really solidified a great relationship that we had between us and Brian Hu and some of the other really incredible people that we've had in our lives that we're so grateful for, that we may not have ever had that interaction. Now we like are like, all right, love you, bye. And it's like this great relationship that we have. So I think that if you feel like you want to be seen, or you want to be heard, or you want to meet people, or maybe you're nervous, this is a really welcoming, community driven event, but also creates, I don't want to say exclusivity. It's not the exclusivity. It's, I know that the animals that are on all of these tables that we are looking at before we even start the show are healthy. They look great. There's no imports. It's a no import show for this, because most people who import don't know how to care for properly. And you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people who do it and just to flip them and make money, and, you know, not care about the quality. And then that's when people start cursing the reptile name. You know, that's when people get a bad rep. A show gets a bad rep. That's not what we're about. We're here to create togetherness. It's like, honestly, going to summer camp. We're up late. We're making s'mores by the fire pit. We're doing all sorts of fun stuff. There's always music in the house. There's food everywhere. There's drinks everywhere. There's just so much opportunity. There's food trucks, and now we have music. I'm ready for it.
I mean, and then like is as beautiful as everything that you're saying, imagine the conversations being made, and just like hello, you know, I mean, light bulbs turn on when you talk to that one person, and you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna do that when I get home. And then next thing you know, like, bro, I'm telling you, like, people always ask me, MJ, how did you like move up so fast on meeting people? Because you got to put yourself out there. You got to travel and go to shows. And dude, here's the thing, if you have a little bit of a people person skills, you're gonna do great in this. I can tell you, there's people in this game who have no people skills whatsoever, and that's because this is think about snake people from the 90s. They're weird people. Like they're like, and I'm weird. We're all weird. We're like Reptile is for the weird people, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's not as weird as it once was. Like this is a more common and beautiful thing, and like kids are all about it. So it's just like, it's kind of like, I don't know, like I love reptile shows, right? But you see some hillbilly shit at a reptile show, and
you do.
And it's like, and you're just like, oh man, like you just got done leaving the Altitude Exotics table, right? Like look, and then you see some guy with a croc monitor on his shoulder just walking around and fucking like bumping into people, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like one thing you don't want to go wrong could happen at a reptile show.
Exactly.
And it's
you want to be safe. We actually have a really good friend of ours who went to a show, and her daughter got salmonella from holding an animal that she wasn't instructed to do certain things, and it was all over her face, and like all of these things that are like not handled well. And if it weren't for our friend and who came here and saw how like proper husbandry and all that stuff works, she'd be like, no, I'm never going to do that again. My daughter was vomiting and crapping herself, you know, like that could ruin something for somebody. So we're trying to create a standard that is just something new. Why not? Why not put some pressure, put some heat on people, and show them what we can do if we do the right things, I think, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is some people, like, you want to know what helped me out is surrounding myself around people who are doing it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guy where if you teach me one thing, I think it's like, I'm not going to, this is it. That's not evolving. Like, hello, like you, but the thing is, I would have never evolved if I didn't surround myself around who I think are the best. And I try to keep myself like that. So imagine, you know, you go to an event like this. If you're, you know, if, like I said, this now, mind you, this isn't a everyone's invited type event, right? And can we kind of set the standard on that real quick? Like, what kind of event is this?
So that's the thing. It is an invitation. We have to know the quality of the animals are there.
Right.
We're not the ones to judge the value of your animals, but we are the ones to judge that you are doing it right and you're doing a good job, and that you can spread knowledge that is going to help build the community, not break it down. That's one of the big things why when we went to Tinley, we talked to a few of the snake people out there, and there were a few that Dorian walked around with us. And I think because we're gecko people, they might not know who we are and what we were doing, but we created the first show. We were successful. We had a variety, but this year we have a bigger variety and we have more vendors. And now we have a wait list of like 20 different people.
Oh boy.
And we can't get them all in because, you know, we gotta roll with what we have and still keep it that smaller exclusive feeling. But I do think that there's a lot of really fun opportunity for a couple other snake people, you know?
Yeah, let me know, man. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna try to say like, oh, you should put me in charge of the invite list for the snake people, but I do got to say that, man, the dynamic of certain snake people being at this party will be very crucial. It would be very, very next level. That being said, I don't even want. I'm just kind of embarrassed to say it because I have an event. It's called Trap Fest.
Cool.
But it's at my house.
Okay, but still, that's fun. Good for you. You got to keep it somewhere.
It's fun though, because listen, I get the best tacos fucking catered, and like
yum.
And it's the week of the Anaheim Reptile Super Show. Okay.
Brett goes.
It's in July, and this is just my trust me, invite only on my shit too. It's really for my Patreon members, but then I have like my celebrity breeder guest list who come through. Like Bill Stiegel was there last year. He will be there this year. I would love for you guys to come if you guys could make it in July. I don't know. I know schedules are tight all around, especially with kids, but it is a kid-friendly event. You could bring Miles on through if you like. But
he'll never leave your snake room. I don't know. You're gonna adopt a new child.
Bring it on, man. I love
obsessively talk about it.
Good. Well, because maybe when he gets old enough, summertime, he could come work for me, and then
hey, you know what? We'll send him out. He'll love it. That'd be great.
Man, this was an awesome. 2 hours went by way too quick.
And
I'm gonna be able to. This last topic was kind of a quick question, so I'm just gonna throw it into the hot seat questions. Why not? So. Guys, thank you so much for everyone tapped in. Let's get the likes up. I never asked anyone this whole episode because I was so engaged as far as getting the likes up. But guys, let's get the likes up right now for
do it.
Gabby.
Get on there.
This was an awesome episode. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite ones as far as the Gecko series goes so far. So hot seat questions.
Yeah.
Coming in hot. You guys ready for this or what?
Wait, who goes? Do we ask each of us?
Same time.
Oh, shit.
Don't look at each other. You can't do what are you gonna say? No, it's
okay.
Pretend, right?
Okay.
And the more you guys don't look at each other, the more player this goes. Okay.
Okay.
So no. Okay. Hot seat questions coming in hot. Here we go. Frozen thought or live?
Frozen thought.
Favorite gecko diet?
Pangea.
Favorite gecko morph?
Sable.
Oh shit, the sable. Okay,
at the end. Keep going.
Okay,
I got this.
Sorry. Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
I don't breed enough snakes. I don't know.
Oh well, if you had to say pre or post, what would you say, Brett?
Post.
You kind of cheated. You looked at her, but anyways. I'm just kidding.
She is my cheat code for that. I don't know.
Sorry.
Red chondro neo or yellow chondro neo?
I know reds are awesome, but I'm shallow and like yellow.
I say red.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay
imports, yeah.
One reptile you would import to your collection, no matter what it is, anywhere around the world, what would it be?
Oh man.
This is hard.
I love how Gabby's looking that way.
I'm like, I don't want to look at Brett because I don't know what he's gonna say.
I would want to import a legit like wild caught crested gecko.
Okay.
It's so hard because
you just can't get that.
Right. What about you, Gabby?
Honestly,
not a blackhead for Miles. Come on.
Listen, Australian stuff's so fun. I'm trying to think of like what's clothes that you couldn't import that would be fun to import. A pangolin, is that what they're called?
What's a pangolin?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So those animals.
Yeah. All the armor plates on it.
They're so
cool. Like super endangered.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't actually, but I would.
But
you went straight for the endangered one. That's awesome. Okay. What's one reptile nobody should ever import ever? Leave it alone.
Abronia.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good one. Yes, that was so
Yeah.
gangster, dude. That was a good one. That's a good one right there.
Thanks.
Brett, you could ride that.
I love
all day.
Abronia too. I would take
No,
it in a
I know.
heartbeat.
We're on the same page on this.
Dude,
We talked about
Bronia.
this before. So yeah,
Bronia's, and we will talk about Bronia on our next episode because that's a close.
That's one of our
Yeah.
favorites too. We have a story.
Big flexor or no flexor?
Big flexor.
yeah,
Yes. Steak or fish?
fish.
Oh, I'll go fish too.
Favorite fillet of fish? Like if it's like, what's your number one? Gotta eat it.
Oh, salmon.
Sea bass.
Sea bass. Okay. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
Boo.
Wine. Alcohol?
Yeah.
Alcohol. Yeah.
I can give up alcohol and be okay.
I can give it up, but I love it. Keep going.
Okay. What would be your one choice of alcohol beverage? Like what's one thing you maybe just can't say no to? It's your favorite drink.
Oh, I mean, I do like a good just glass of red wine occasionally.
Touche. I love the red wine. Red wine's my shit. Yeah.
It's like with a meal, like that
Right.
type of deal. Like it's a pairing thing.
Right. It has to pair well. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Oh,
Sammy Hagar.
Gabby, I
Don't be mad at me.
cannot believe
Sorry.
you. No, keep it real, dude. South
I'll be
Florida.
honest.
Yeah. No,
Oh, Sammy.
Say Van Halen for his sake.
Okay, Van Halen. That's a 50-50 coin in my book. So
It is.
yeah,
It is.
it's all good.
God bless.
If you
this
ask
couple.
me, like, I would have a harder time probably with like Elton or Billy Joel. Like, I like both of them. And that would be
they just both said Sammy Hagar. I'm just kidding. Listen, West Coast rap or East Coast rap? Just had to
Can
pick.
I just say Tupac and Biggie for life?
I feel like all in all, like I like East Coast stuff, but I think Tupac is my favorite rapper. So like
These are hard.
West
This
Coast
what
is
they're
number
hard.
one, but like all the other stuff is like right up underneath it. 2 through whatever is
Probably
East Coast.
for me.
Yeah.
Somebody recently said East Coast and then said Tupac because Tupac is from the East Coast. So,
Okay.
I mean, you.
so then East Coast all the way
Yeah.
counts. I'm
but it
gonna go
ain't
with
East Coast music. You know, it's that West Coast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So-
was gonna say West Coast, totally
Yeah.
different vibe.
all right, here we go. Little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk,
Cookies.
Coffee.
cocoa,
Powder.
Yeah.
substrate,
Reptile.
Reptisoil.
FedEx shipping,
Love
Socks.
it. Lifesaver.
first time gecko breeder,
Awesome.
Yeah.
favorite reptile show.
Flora,
Flora
Fauna.
Fauna.
Dude, next level.
Dude,
Okay.
wait till you experience it.
If you had to advise anyone to spend certain production money, is it putting everything back into the collection or putting investments elsewhere? What would be your advice?
Back into the collection.
Yeah, for sure. Back into the collection.
That's
And
that.
husbandry. That's
Yeah.
what counts. But yeah.
That's that long-term longevity mindset that I love to hear. Guys, you killed it. You stuck this pig like a damn like a warhawk. It's like
Well, thank you.
an amazing episode. 2 hours
Thank
went by
you.
fast. We had just a little bit over 60 people tapped in for this episode.
Well,
So what
thank
do you have to say to all your supporters, everyone writing for you, everyone going to your guys' event this year? What do you have to say to all your lovers out there, man?
We're grateful.
Yes.
Gratitude.
Super thanks to everybody.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
we just wouldn't be able to be where we were without the community that we have and the people that follow us. And we love like our friends AJ and Brian and Sam and Allie, like Nicole. We have so many incredible friends that it's so hard to thank everybody. But if it weren't for everybody's support and having the, ideas to bounce off each other and all of those things, we would be lost and we wouldn't be as successful as we were if it weren't for the people. So thank you guys so much. And for coming. We do these live auctions on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So much fun.
And they're cracking. I got to say, every time you guys do those, they're super engaging and people are all
Yeah.
about it. And don't listen, guys, whatever you have going on, it's so positive and it's so beautiful
Thank
because, I stumbled across, this hobby as far as the gecko community within the last few months, right? And I instantly became a big fan of AJ and Harry and what they got going on. But I also see how connected it is on Instagram, and you guys are all working together. This whole working together is what's moving this gecko community, right? Yeah. And listen, you are who you hang around with. I say this all the time. So if you look at people who are killing it and they're all hanging out with each other, well, then there you go. Surround yourself around the best people, and you'll have the best time. That's it.
Yeah. We're very, very lucky for that. And we're grateful for the people who bring everybody together. We try to be those people. I just like people, and I like having friends, and I love our friends, and I love that we have friends that can also keep up with our conversations, which try talking to other people. It's always the geckos or the, whatever dumb references that we've only heard 150 times,
I'm going to end it with this. I love meeting people that remind me that I love meeting people.
Yes. And that's a great way to put it.
That's what you two are, because sometimes, like I said, I run into people who have this energy of like gloating me and like they want support, but then I kind of look at their progress, I look at their work, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I run a Patreon with over 140 people who are like diehard all about it. And dude, my energy, I'm so sorry, it has to be valued to where it needs to go to the right kind of people.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
But also too, like I also now am understanding that I want to show love to just anyone, right? But at the end of the day, like, you got to come correct. And what I mean by that is, just make it about the animals. If you have something to show that you take care of your animals, that's one respect in my book. That's the first thing I look for. Like, show me what you're doing with your animals, and then we can go from there. But
I couldn't agree more. I think that was well stated and well put. And I think that leave your egos at the door and remember where we all came from and how we started, and be kind, and it works out great, Yeah. You got to have good people. And I think that that's awesome. I think you're great. And bringing people together is just so important. So you go, MJ. You guys go. You guys go. Okay. No, listen, this was, like I said, this kind of surpassed my what I expected on this show. And, this could easily go another 2 hours. That's why I love it. Like we can easily keep this going. We can keep talking. We've got plenty of things to say.
But imagine when we're in person. This is going to be great. We'll have fun. Listen, you two enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much. And it's a wrap for Brett and Gabby of Morph. Tell me, I don't want to fuck it up again.
You're not going to do it. Think of menage a trois. Do it.
Oh, menagerie. No.
Menagerie. You're going to get it one day. Menagerie.
Menagerie is menagerie.
That's going to be a
menagerie. We're going to name it. We're going to name something after you tonight. So
it's a wrap for Morph Menagerie. Did I say it? Yeah. Oh my God.
Round of applause for MJ for getting our name right tonight. I'm so proud.
Dude, listen, I have a speech impediment, so don't laugh. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding.
I was like, way to make me feel like a piece of shit.
Hey, dude, honestly, man, I appreciate you guys so much. Great episode. Have a good night, okay?
Appreciate it.
Thanks, MJ. Bye, see you.
Oh, you gecko community is lucky to have these two, man. I gotta tell you, this was a great episode. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, everyone who tapped in for the very first time. That was your first time tapping in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button for these two as well, because yeah, man, this was that was a good time. And yeah, shout out to everyone who tapped in. I got to say that this week is packed. It's jam packed. We have a great weekend ahead of us as far as podcast goes. Tomorrow, new breed on the block series. We have my boy Mike, Herp Collector. God damn, let me make this right. Herp Collector. Okay, this is somebody who has consistently been putting out podcast episodes weekly, and he's grinding, but also has an awesome community behind him. I cannot wait to get to know my man Mike more. I got to meet him at Tinley. And yeah, man, why don't you guys tap in with me? Because it's all going down tomorrow for New Breed on the Block series with Herb Collector, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then, I'm not going to lie, guys, this Thursday is going to be fucking sick. Jason Exotic Reptiles. This guy, Jason, to me, in my eyes, is an OG in the game. This guy has been around for quite a while. Some of the very first boa constrictor content I was researching was from this guy's YouTube channel, and he's still putting out amazing content today. And I think it's going to be a good episode. You know, I've never really spoken to this guy ever, only through Messenger. So he has ties with Nerd, has done a lot of collaborations with Kevin. And I'm just, man, like I said, I followed this guy's work from years ago. So be ready for that. Patreon members, listen, we had a Zoom meeting that was supposed to happen 40 minutes ago. And unfortunately, because how epic this episode was tonight, we're going to have to push our Trap Talk Zoom meeting to tomorrow, 4 o'clock, okay? My voice is going on. What's wrong with my voice? But Patreon members, trap meeting, okay, tomorrow, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Everything will be in the Patreon community board. So, guys, if you're looking to tap in to getting more than what you see here on this podcast, go down to the link below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, and you tap in with over 150 trappers in the game. I love my family so much. Thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate all my subscribers out there, man. I really do. Go give me a follow on Instagram, Trap Talk God 619. Follow the podcast's Instagram page as well, Trap Talk Podcast. And if you're on Facebook, show me some love. Mad likes, mad love on Facebook tonight. Appreciate you guys. The Trap Talk Podcast on Facebook. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Brett and Gabby, thank you so much. Gecko community, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys bring a lot of light to the reptile industry. Keep killing it. Keep doing your thing. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.